sharp, and they look really composed as well. There's no panic through their movements, and at the moment, the West Tigers, they just need to take this opportunity to have a little bit of a reset, gather their thoughts, and then come back with some defensive starch.
Latrell from 2 or 3 metres inside that eastern touchline. Moves in, strikes. This one, the touchies are happy again. Latrell has 2 from 2. South Sydney lead 12 points to 0. We've only had 9 minutes of play, or less than 8.5. Deb in Scone asking which way on my radio are the Bunnies running. The Bunnies are running from right to left on your radio, Deb. Thank you for your text. Go Tigers, says Dave in Nowra. Go the Tigers, they'll win the premiership. Thank you for that. Hey team, always loving the call. Listening from Seoul Airport on my way home to Sydney. Cheers from the West Pimble Warrior. Nawaz. Alex from Wagga says Benji, I believe. It's an early call, but this could be a cricket score, says Big Daddy. He's gone from 20 to a lot more than 20. Thanks, Big Daddy. As the South Sydney Rabbitohs have the ball again, 10 away from their own goal line through Murray. First play after points. 2 tries in the first 8 minutes after a team against a team that put 40 on the Cowboys last week. Great start from South Sydney. Fafita plays it 14 away from his line, and then Kolomatangi takes it up to the 20. He's brought to ground in centre field by Pierce Paul. Right-hand side they go. Totola now has the ball about 27 away from the line. 25 in from the eastern touchline. Garlic, left-hand side, run off the ruck out of dummy half. Kolomatangi takes it up over the 30. 15 short of halfway. Left-hand side, they'll kick early in this set from inside 40 as well. Oh, it's a horrible mistake on the wing from Skelton. He's playing on the wing in jumper number 3, and the ball bounced in front of him, rolled along. It wasn't a difficult one, and he spilt it cold after the kick from Latrell Mitchell. That is a horrible error from Gerald Skelton. It's a bit of an awkward bounce, but he should be doing better than that one. South Sydney 12, Tigers 0, 10 gone.
I think he confused himself and made it difficult in the end, because it was a pretty ugly sort of a bounce that it first got, and he was thinking 40-20. You could see that the gears were ticking in his head, so he wasn't quite sure how to approach it, maybe trap it, maybe pick it up, and in the end he tried both, and it was a clumsy error. So once again the South Sydney get a chance to attack.
Yeah, they're in all sorts at the moment. The Tigers, great dummies, goes through a gap, left foot step, and then takes the tackle 10 away from the line. I thought he was going to step straight through the gap there. Now out of dummy half goes Garlic. They're going to get 6 again, but it was the first play. Quick hands close to the line. Murray decides to take the tackle, and he's brought to ground 9 away from the line in centre field. I thought they were going to go straight over again, South Sydney. Left-hand side, Walker changes direction for Feeder. One-handed offload, Kolomatangi. He dummies, goes towards the line. 4 Tigers bring him down 2 away. They get up slowly through Kolomatangi. Garlic goes right. Murray's at first receiver. Humphreys, good ball back on the inside. Duncan. They're going to get another set here, South Sydney. So play 1, 10 away from the line. Garlic out of dummy half. Humphreys. He's only 2 away now. Tigers have to be good here on their own line. They haven't been so far. Duncan's in a dummy half. Left for Murray. Walker, quick hands, Latrell. Here's Mitchell. Offload. Walker wasn't ready for it. Loses the ball. The Tigers do get a let off here. The knock on after the offload, and the West Tigers will get a scrum feed. 10 away from their own goal line. They barely touched the ball. South Sydney 12. West Tigers 0 after 11.5.
Yeah, the little offload there from Latrell. Can't quite get a hand on it, Cody Walker, but it was brewing once again for the Rabbitohs, and that's the side where you felt maybe they were going to predominantly send their attack, is the mismatch between Latrell and Sunia Taruva. But they come up with the error, and as you said, a sigh of relief for the West Tigers.
Tex Henry agrees with Big Daddy that it's going to be a cricket score. 0467 920 222. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport. Rowan Sims, Dean Hallertau. I'm Glenn Lauder. Good to have your company as Jerome Luai tries to get the Tigers going forward. They have it 27 away from their own goal line, and now they come to the right-hand side. That's a strong run from Fanua Pole. He takes the tackle 15 short of halfway. Karoyasau dummy half, 1 off the ruck, left-hand side. Twile is 6 away, make it 5 or even 4 now away from halfway. Held up in the tackle of Murray and a couple of others. Karoyasau goes left out of dummy half, then changes direction, throws it right, and that's another decent run there for the Tigers. 36 away from the South Sydney line now through Buller. He plays the ball, and then Karoyasau goes to Dewey, puts the high kick up in the air, 3 chases. Latrell's waiting. think it's gone backwards first off Skelton and then knocked forward at the second attempt by the Tigers and picked up by Latrell Mitchell, and he will play the ball on 0 for South Sydney, 30 away from his own goal line. Skelton did well to knock it backwards, but the Tigers couldn't make the most of it. The Souths will be able to come away from their own end once again. We've had 13 minutes of play here at Central Coast Stadium in front of a huge crowd. South Sydney leading the West Tigers 12 points to 0. Right-hand side, the Bunnies go. Gray once again scheming, darting, taking the tackle, 3 away from the halfway line. Garlick out of dummy half to Murray, and then Kalamatangi over halfway. He sits inside Tigers territory centre field. Plays the ball Garlick. One off the ruck right-hand side for Murray's carry. Now he gets the offload back to Garlick, and Garlick goes through the traffic and then takes the tackle 31 away from the line. Final play for Souths. Humphreys is at first receiver. He'll kick across field. Taruba's acting as the decoy there. It's taken by Skelton. Taruba was absolutely whacked in the back as he tried to stop the South Sydney runners coming through. He gets up and he's okay, and then he takes the next hit up, and they will get a penalty here. The West Tigers, a crusher tackle. It was Garlick in there, and it's the first penalty of the evening for the Tigers. 20 away from their own goal line, but they do trail 12-0 after 14.
Yeah, when they get a little bit of possession here, the Tigers, so they want to make the most of it. But South Sydney have been really impressive through the middle of the ruck, and it's been mostly Totola and Keon Kalamatangi that's doing all the damage. Some strong carries, fast play. The ball's really setting things up.
So the Tillies in action, of course, in the Asian Cup final, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight kickoff. That's on ABC Sport Digital. And ABC Listen, look for the green and gold button. The Tigers have the ball here in centre field. 15 gone, they trail by 12. Left-hand side, Dewey tries to skip away, but Tallis Duncan holds on, and he's dragged to ground. 3 inside South Sydney's territory. Royce waiting at dummy half, right for Alex Twile, and Twile takes it up over the 40-metre line. 37 away from South Sydney's line. The Bunnies scored 2 early tries through Jai Gray and Jack White. And left-hand side as the Tigers look to bounce back through Fainu. He has the ball 31 away from South Sydney's line. It's the final play for the Tigers. Dewey goes to the skies in that southeastern corner. Plenty of chases coming through. It was picked up by Macassini. He tried to throw it backwards, but he couldn't quite hold on to it. It went forward in the end. South Sydney dived on it, and they will get 0 tackle, 15 away from their own line. Second play, or first play because of the 0, is Jai Gray. 27 away, centre field, left-hand side. Here's Alex Johnston, the record breaker last week, and AJ has the ball 12 short of halfway here. One of his first touches so far. Here's Tavita Totola towards the halfway line. Put on his back about 3 short of the halfway stripe. Centre field, the South Sydney side have it, and they lead by 12. Kalamatangi, left-hand side, Walker, then Mitchell thinking about the flick pass offload. He does get the flick pass offload away. Fafita held onto it first time. He never looked comfortable though, trying to get it into his grasp, and he loses it ultimately, and the Tigers will get a scrum feed about 6 metres short of the halfway line. 16 minutes gone, South Sydney 12, West Tigers 0, touchline Ruan Sims.
Well, the Tigers are celebrating that little victory because they've only had 22% possession so far in the first 16 odd minutes of this game. There's a lot of fatigue in their outfit. This is the best start of set that they're going to have. And I do have to say, everyone listening at home, it's multicultural around in the NRL. We have 66 heritages being celebrated across all NRL and NRLW players. So what a fantastic thing for the game.
Yeah, well said, Roo. It's a wonderful celebration of the cultures that make up this great game of ours. It is a global game, and we are lucky to have it in our backyard as the Tigers have the ball 10 away from the halfway line, or 10 inside South Sydney's territory, should I say. That's a forward pass. It's massively forward as they were trying to get a run on Terrell May down the left-hand side. He throws it forward, and South Sydney will get the ball 5 or 15 short of halfway, and they're just trying to create something here, aren't they, the Tigers? That's about a metre. That's almost a deliberate forward pass there. Now, I've just seen someone put on report as well. South Sydney get the scrum feed. I saw Wyatt Raymond do the X above his head, so we'll have a look at that for you. 18 gone. South Sydney lead 12 points to 0. We'll keep an eye on that one. Dino's going to have a look in the NRL database for us. Around the gowns quickly in the Queensland Cup halftime, Mackay leading Central Queensland 8-6. In the AFL first quarter, Fremantle leading Melbourne 26-6, and South Sydney lose the ball from the base of the scrum, but the Tigers were offside. Souths went right, Jack Whiten lost the ball, and then they get the penalty anyway because the Tigers defending the scrum, you can see on the replay, all left early on their left-hand defensive line, and South Sydney get the penalty. Humphries finds touch 30 metres away from the Tigers line, 12-0, 18 gone.
Yeah, well, they're rushing on the edges because they're a bit fragile at the moment, the West Tigers, so they're trying to get up early and cut things down, but obviously it leads to a penalty, and once again they invite the opposition into their own territory.
Junior Totola gets pushed back 4 or 5 metres there. He plays it 31 away from the line. Murray juggled, held on to it. Now Kalamatangi, 23 away from the Tigers line, gets up and plays it 23 in from the western touchline. Garlic dummy half, right Humphries, Walker, Gray's ball goes out the back and it goes past Graham Taufa, and then the ball is lost forwards by South Sydney and then ultimately by the Tigers as well. Double knock on, and it'll be a scrum feed. Happy Karoisau was the player put on report for that crusher tackle, wasn't there?
I think there was a play earlier. It might have come back, but it looked to be a cannonball type action, which he actually had a charge from his round 2 match last week. So, Happy will be watching closely after the game for that one.
Okay, so Happy Karoisau on report for the Tigers. They trailed 12 points to 0, 19 gone in this first half, and they do win the scrum as they come away from their own end. 30 metres away, 22 in from the western touchline. Now they come one off the ruck, left-hand side through Skelton. He'll play the ball 13 short of halfway in centre field. Karoisau dummy half, left-hand side he goes, jinking and weaving, but unable to find a way through and getting up and playing at his volley. 3 inside South Sydney's territory. They want a high shot here on Karoisau here, the Tigers. White Raymond was okay with it. The Tigers fans here weren't. They go right, Dewey through the hands. It ends up with Taruva, and Taruva takes the tackle 20 away from South Sydney's line. I think it's as close as they come, and then they get 6 again. Cody Walker was in there too long. He argues his point with the touch judge, but it doesn't matter. The Tigers with a full set at South Sydney's line, 22 away. Getting up, they get another 6 again here. 12 plays it. Left-hand side they come. Terrell May gets the one-handed offload to Folle. Out it goes to Luai. Changes direction off the left foot. Jerome Luai close to the line. That is really good defending to stop Jerome Luai going over by Murray. They get up, play the ball, changing direction. Terrell May doesn't really know where he's going. He skips away from a couple and then just takes the tackle. 7 away from South Sydney's line. May gets up slowly and plays it. Karoisau thinking about grubbing through. Gets the pass away to Bolle. Centimetres away. Adjacent to the right-hand upright. Karoisau dummy half. Right-hand side Dewey. Cut out ball over the top. Skelton takes a couple on. He's close to the touchline. He stays in beautifully. I don't know how he did it. Buller at dummy half. Dewey grubbers towards the in goal. Landed on by Fafita. It was the final play. And the Tigers, I think they're going to get a penalty here, are they? Was there a... Oh, no, it was a knock-on by South Sydney off the grubber through, and the Tigers will get a scrum feed 10 away from South Sydney's line as they just couldn't manage that little grubber. Oh, it was accidental offside. Humphries kicked it into Garlic. That's what happened. South's leading 12-0, 18 and a half to go first half.
Yeah, they went for the trap and scrap, as most teams do when the ball goes along the ground, try and get a 50-50 play at it, but as you said, into Garlic off the rebound. So the Tigers will get another crack at it here. They did go a little bit rudderless through that set. You mentioned Terrell May. He gets the ball, doesn't know where to go, so he concedes the tackle. They want to put a better structure together.
Buller feeds the scrum. Left-hand side, Luai dummies. I think the South Sydney players all fell for it because Macassini was tackled before the ball even went out there, and it didn't ultimately go there because Luai took the tackle. He wanted a penalty for the tackle without the ball. They get up and play. Twile might have led with a forearm there on Kalamatangi, but he's held. He looks for the offload. It was simultaneous, so he gets the ball back. Alex Twile, 9 away from South Sydney's line. Here's Karoisau, dummy half. Dewey changes direction. Kai Pearce-Paul skips away from a couple. Did he go underneath Karoisau there? Was there an obstruction? Karoisau's going to continue the play on here as he gets the ball. Now they go right-hand side. Dewey doesn't really know where to go. A bit rudderless close to the line here, the Tigers. 6 away. Dewey stands up in the tackle and takes it as Karoyasau comes left out of dummy half. Fanua Bole gets it away to Luai. Now they go left for Makasini. That's good defending, close to the line, stopping Makasini on the way through. They come right, one off the ruck, charging towards the line is Terrell May. Final plays, a metre out right underneath the black dot at the southern end. Karoyasau goes long out of dummy half, left-hand side. The grubber through from Luai is not handled over on the far side by Humphreys. Knocked forward. The Tigers will get another set at South Sydney's line here. Bunnies lead 12-0, 17 to go first half. Touchline, Ruan Sims.
Well, the West Tigers really need to get their heads together, the halves, and come up with a plan on how to pull apart this South Sydney defence. They've got plenty of possession. Now they need to actually capitalise on it. They need to pull them apart and then get to work on them. At the moment, it's so easy to handle.
Half-time in the first game of the NBL final series as well. Sydney leading Adelaide 59-39. South Sydney defending their own line. The Tigers win the scrum. Karoyasau almost finds a way through. South's offside from the scrum. A penalty to the Tigers. They will continue this pressure. They're going to take it out to the 10-metre line. And they've decided to take the scrum again.
Yeah, well, if there's an early break here or an offside, I think there's an automatic sin bin.
0467920222. How about a bit of an update on the Matildas game, buddy? Well, buddy, they're just about to kick off. So once it starts, I'll let you know how they're going. They are playing Japan in the final of the Asian Cup. 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in Sydney. We will keep you up to date. They feed the scrum, the Tigers. Karoyasau waiting at the base of it. He goes left, Luai. Good tackle there to bring him down by Humphreys. 12 away from the line. Scooting out a dummy half, trying to find a way through, but unable to is Laulili. He plays the ball for Karoyasau. Right-hand side, Terrell May goes to dummy, then goes himself. Centimetres away from the line. Can South Sydney keep the Tigers out here? Karoyasau continuing from dummy half. Right for Luai. Had to stop, then gets it away to Dewey. He goes to the line. Brought to ground, 5 away. Gets up, plays it now. Left out of dummy half is Buller. Changing direction is Bole. Looks for options. Doesn't have any. Fifth tackle for the Tigers. They've had about 5 straight sets. Karoyasau grubbers. It's knocked on again by South Sydney. So it'll be yet another set of 6 for the West Tigers. They'll have the scrum 10 away from the line. It was Humphreys again who lost the ball there as he tried to deal with that grubber on the way through. South Sydney leading 12-0, 15 to go first half. It was Garlic, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, well, Rue hit the nail on the head. The Tigers at the moment, they could have another 5 sets and they might not score because they are not looking for any sort of options or structure that's effective against a South Sydney defence that needs a wrap for the amount that they're turning up on both sides of the ruck.
So they win the scrum again. Karoyasau's at the base of it. Left-hand side, he goes to Luai, back on the inside, Makasini. They get 6 again here and they have the ball 6 away from the line. It doesn't matter because it's the first anyway. Karoyasau, dummy half, right for Terrell May, back on the inside, Twal. Alex Twal is 7 away from the line. Karoyasau waiting at dummy half. South Sydney leading 12-0. It's been all Tigers the last few minutes though. Kai Pearce-Paul runs at Jai Gray, takes the tackle 5 away from the line. Karoyasau out of dummy half. Left-hand side, Dewey. Long ball out for Luai. Now Makasini towards the line. Great defending again. Humphreys coming over the top with White and they're 5 away from the line. They can't find a way through. Luai, right-hand side to Terrell May. Tries to bounce off a couple of South Sydney players. Final play for the Tigers. 9 away from the line. Karoyasau as the rain starts to fall in Gosford. Right-hand side, Dewey. Gets it away to Kai Pearce-Paul. The final play. Pearce-Paul still going towards the line, but he's tackled. It'll be a changeover. Listen to the cheers from the South Sydney fans. They've had to see off wave after wave after wave. They lead 12-0 with 13 and a half to go first half.
Yeah, well, once again, a big pat on the back to the South Sydney Rabbitohs defence. For the last 5 minutes, they have turned the Tigers away time after time. And what's really impressive is just the way that they're pushing from the inside and having each other's backs. Every time the Tigers throw any sort of shape, the Rabbitohs inside defenders are really cleaning things up, closing things down quickly and creating a lot of safety on the edges. So the Tigers haven't been able to find a way through.
So Rue just rightly points out that Appy's on report for that cannonball on David Fafita. So thank you, Rue. And the South South Sydney Rabbitohs have made their first interchange. Sean Kepi's on the park. He plays the ball 12 short of halfway. Now early in the set, kicking low and looking for a 40-20, and I think maybe getting it Humphreys. He did. 40-20, Jamie Humphreys. Great kick early in the set, and no. Wyatt Raymond had indicated that it was a South Sydney ball, and then he's changed direction and given it to the Tigers. So it must have been just outside 40 from Humphreys, and the Tigers will play the ball 18 away from their own goal line. It was very close, but not close enough. Yeah, Wyatt Raymond made the signal for the play the ball facing the Tigers goal line, and then changed his direction as Taruva takes it up towards the 30-metre line. The Tigers trailing 12-0, but they have been much better in recent times after conceding 2 tries in the first 8 minutes. They're 14 short of the halfway line now. You're listening to NRL Saturday on ABC Sport with Ruan Sims, Dean Hallertau and Glenn Lauder. 0467 920 222. Royce, our dummy half, left for Luai. Gets it away now to Fainu. Oh, the big donkey. Fainu goes over the top, and then he makes it within 12 of South Sydney's half. It's a final play. So they go open side right for Dewey to put the high kick up in the centre of the park. Gray waiting for it. Goes to ground, loses the ball. He was absolutely hammered, Jai Gray. Illegally, says the referee. Now they're coming from everywhere. Push and shove. Gray is being helped out by Alex Johnston, but meanwhile, they're coming from everywhere. The South Sydney players not happy with that contact on Jai Gray as he went to take the catch in wet conditions. South Sydney will have the penalty, 10 away from their own goal line. 11 and a half to go in the first half. Bunnies 12, Tigers 0.
Yeah, well, the chasers were coming through quite fast, weren't they? And just watching, it's Fainu, as you said, that comes across. Xiaomi Fainu comes across the top there. Quite low, Gray, and I mean, the ball was up high in the air. The chasers were coming through at full speed. There's an error. The referee's called dangerous contact and awarded the penalty. But then obviously the South Sydney Rabbitohs have come to the defence of the Dominion fullback. He's up and with the trainer at the moment, so hopefully he's okay to continue.
Let's have a listen to Wyatt Raymond.
He didn't come in, though. No, he was involved. Hey, listen, no, you're the captain. You're involved. I give the penalty right for the initial high contact. You react well after, and then you react to that, all right? When I award the penalty, let me deal with it, and then we go from there. By coming in, you risk sitting down, okay? Talk to him now.
Fair enough from the referee. No need to come in. He blew the penalty. I think it was slightly unfair, not unfair on Fainu, but he was a little bit unlucky because Gray was a long way. He was almost on the deck, and Fainu's arm did swing across. It almost bounced off the ball. It wasn't quite across the chops, but certainly dangerous and worth a penalty. And Jai Gray is still getting attention here. It's an awkward one, isn't it, with him pretty much already lying on the ground and Fainu coming through at 1,000,000 miles an hour. But Ruan Sims down on the touchline. Jai Gray will come off, it looks like, for an HIA.
Yeah, he's coming off for an HIA, and because it was a foul play, there should be a little bit of flexibility here for the Rabbitohs. It didn't hit him across, like flush in the face, so that is a positive. It hit him around the neck, so I'm wondering whether, yeah, I can see him now around his larynx. He looks very tender there. So I'll get an update on that as soon as I can.
Thanks, Rue, and there's a huge round of applause for Jai Gray as he comes off the field as well, and it means that Thomas Fletcher comes onto the park for his first appearance of the season, his 5th of his NRL career, and Thomas Fletcher will come on. We'll wait to see where he lines up, but yeah, straight up the tunnel for Jai Gray, and the South Sydney fans are giving him a round of applause while blowing up at the contact from Fainu. Meanwhile, South Sydney are 10 inside Tigers territory. They lead 12-0, and they had the ball one off the ruck left-hand side through Sean Kepi. Kepi takes it to within 30 of the Tigers line. There's 10 to go first half. South lead 12-0. It's been played at a pretty quick clip. Murray gets it away to Walker. Oh, the bat on from Mitchell to Johnston, and Johnston is 9 away from the line. Geez, that bat on was wonderful from Mitchell. Johnston can't quite find the line. Right-hand side they go. Walker gets it away. Murray can't handle. Oh, he does beautifully in the end. It was bouncing off his chest. It went over his shoulder. It was like he was dealing with a python at the zoo, but he managed to hold on to it. Now they come right-hand side. Here is Fletcher. He has it 6 away from the line, and he'll take the tackle with 10 minutes to go in the first half, leading by 12. Dummying out a dummy half, going himself close to the line, but not quite able to get there is right there. Bamazelis on the field as well. Now they go the ball over the top. It bounces away. Ends up with Graham Taufa. There might have been a knock forward here from South Sydney as they threw it across to the right-hand side. White Raymond says no try. Let's have a listen.
Just confirm that it's a knock on over the ground by Jack White.
Yeah. It did look like, Dino, with 9 minutes 50 to go in the first half, that ball coming over the top from White ends up going forward.
Yeah, well, you called it in the run of play, didn't you, Estee? It was a bullet-like pass out to the right-hand side. It goes straight through White, and just watching the replay now, it looks like it comes over his left shoulder.
It certainly goes behind his head.
Yeah.
It'll just be interesting to see whether it comes forward off his hand. He goes without it, doesn't he, White? He's almost getting out of the way.
I think if it's his left hand, it's
probably
facing
going
forward. But
yeah.
Tell you what, Graham Taufa does a good job to scoop that up and continue on with the play.
Whiten's, I'd say 30% trying to catch, but 70% trying to get out of the way of it. And it just hits his left hand, which is kind of behind his head, and then probably comes off his head, which would mean it's gone forward.
Left hand of Jack White. See perspective now after that touch.
Look, absolute worst, they'll stay with you on field and it'll be no try. But Ruan Sims, what say you?
Yeah, I think that was a knock-on, and I think...
Continues to travel forward across the ground, which is a knock-on. We have a decision.
Yeah, I think the referee got it correct in real time.
You're absolutely right there, Roo. He was listening to you. So, no try for South Sydney, no try for Graham Taufa, and the Tigers will be able to play the ball 10 away from their own goal line. 0467 920 222. Apologies, I haven't been able to get through too many of them because we have had a truckload and it's been full on. Thanks to Paul in Wollongong, thanks to Mary in Vancouver, Natasha in Cecil Hills, Brett in Far North Queensland, Shazza in Toowoomba, Howie in Adelaide, and Kuala Kubu Baru in Malaysia. Jack is listening. Thank you for your text message as well. I'll keep trying to get to as many as I can as the Tigers go up over the 30-metre line. They're about 28 in, basically centre field, as on the park, Xiaomi Mi now will take it 13 short of halfway, and Twal gets it to within 6 of the halfway line. Here's Karoyas out dummy half, left-hand side Terrell May, and May is 2 metres inside South's territory on the final play, trailing by 12. Luai kicking on the run, it's a deep one, waiting for it is Mitchell, taking it, and then once again whacked in really strong contact. Tracing through there was Lalili. He gets up and plays the ball, and now Whiten advances it to 17 metres away from his own goal line. One off the ruck, left-hand side they come. South Sydney trapped down their own end momentarily, trying to find a way forward here, and they do so through, that's Garlic. He plays it, what about 35 away from the line. Left-hand side now is Kepi. Kepi is only 9 short of halfway, but it's the final play for South Sydney. They come left-hand side. Mitchell will kick from inside 40. It's a deep one, going backwards too deep. We'll go over the dead ball line. It'll be a 20-metre restart for the Tigers. Not quite getting the weight that he would have liked on that one, Latrell Mitchell. And the Tigers with a 20-metre restart. 12-0 lead trail, 8 to go first half.
Yeah, of course, with Jai Gray off the field and Latrell now moving to fullback, we're seeing a lot more of him popping up on both sides of the ball and really injecting himself in the game. And that kicking game that we know he's got a huge left boot. He's going to get more involved and take a bit of the attention away from Humphreys.
So the Tigers once again coming out of their own end through Royce Hunt. He's 5 short of the halfway line. Gets up, plays it for Karoyasau. Left-hand side he goes for Finu, and Finu takes it 8 metres inside South Sydney's territory, where he plays the ball for Karoyasau again. Right for Twal, and now Royce Hunt once again. Royce Hunt is 33 away from South Sydney's line. Karoyasau no look, left-hand side, pass for Twal, and Twal is within 18 metres of South Sydney's line, but it's the final play. Karoyasau come left, linking up with Luai, who goes back towards the ruck. Still going Luai, jinking around, doesn't really have any options, so he passes long to Taruva, who doesn't know what to do either. So he grubbers through, Johnston falls on it, and South Sydney will start a set, find out from their own goal line. 7 minutes to go in the first half. South Sydney leading 12-0. They just don't know what to do with the ball once they get to the end of the set, Dino.
Yeah, and you can see Jerome Luai, he's thinking about that kick down the left-hand side, changes his mind at last minute. He's an ad-lib footballer, so he wants to come back across the ruck and look for another option. In the end, he runs out of space, gives it to River, who runs out of more space, and it's a bit of a nothing kick in behind the line. It really doesn't challenge the back three from the Rabbitohs.
Just a reminder, Jai Gray is off having an HIA at the moment. We'll keep an update with what's going on with the South Sydney fullback. They come to the left on the final play. Humphries has to kick from 35 away from his own line. It was charged down by the Tigers. It would have been 6 again, but it ended up with Whiten, who lost the ball, and the Tigers will be able to play the ball 8 metres inside South Sydney's territory. That was a great opportunity for South Sydney to get another set after having to kick from only 30 metres away from their own line, Dina.
Yeah, I think it was an early kick too, so they've seen the space in behind. They've had a couple of near 40-20s, and you can see that was the intention, but straight into the Tigers player, and then the mistake is the Tigers another chance to attack where they've been quite a bit throughout this first half.
Xiaomi Mi, 22 away from South Sydney's line. Right-hand side, Dewey gets it away to Skelton. Can they hang on to him? Buller is a metre away from the line. Well done to the South Sydney defenders again. Left-hand side, Dewey gets it away to Twal. On it goes to Karoyasau. Now Luai tries to skip away from White, but he holds on and he takes the tackle 16 away from the line. Karoyasau scooting out a dummy half, still going Uppy. Uppy's 3 away from the line. They trail 12-0, 5.5 to go first half. Final play. They come to the right for Dewey at first receiver, kicking towards the post. Buller goes up, gets it first, passes it back, bounces off the ground into the arms of Dewey, then he loses the ball. So Adam Dewey loses it pretty easily there again for the Tigers. 5 away from the goal line after Buller batted it back from the kick, and South Sydney will get the start to this set. 10 away from their line, 5 minutes to go first half. South lead 12-0.
Yeah, it was a kick in the wrong spot, I think. It was a good target trying to hit Buller, who we know is quite tall, can leap really well. If he catches that only a few metres forward, he's at the line, so probably doesn't need to go for the bat back. But Dewey just left a little bit short, and then again the cheap turnover to the Rabbitohs.
Fafita plays the ball. Mamazella's out of dummy half, then he goes left for Johnson, and Johnson's 10 away from the halfway line. Mamazella scoots again, right-hand side, Kepi met in a really strong tackle. Sione Fainu right in front of us. The glass shook in the commentary box. Lucky we're not in Canberra. Now they go right-hand side, final play. Humphries has to kick off the back foot. Really well taken by Buller on his own goal line. Returns it up over the 10, up over the 20, and he's brought to ground 21 away from his own goal line. 4.5 to go first half on NRL Saturday here on ABC Sport, with the Tigers trailing 12-0 and losing the ball. 25 away from their own goal line, but they're going to get a penalty because Wyatt Raymond has been given a late call of a high shot and a huge let-off for the West Tigers. I thought they just lost it cold there, but he's got one there from, I reckon, the bunker, and it's a shoulder charge from Fletcher right on Skelton's cheek, and they do get the penalty. 30 away from their own goal line, Dino.
There might have been a bit of a head collision in it for Fletcher as well, but the shoulder appears to have hit at the same time, so one picked up there late and the referee gives the Tigers a penalty.
Yeah, so they found touch and now they have the ball a metre inside South Sydney's territory. Still trailing 12 points to 0, the Tigers. They've had a lot of the ball but haven't been able to do anything with it. They go left-hand side, certainly in the way of points anyway. Hunt takes the tackle. They get 6 again. Karoyasau goes straight through. He's got no support, but he bounces off Mitchell. Still going Karoyasau. He's only a metre and a half away from the line. I thought he was going to go all the way. He's taken half of Central Coast turf with him. Now they go to the left-hand side, and they will score. Finally, all the pressure pays off, and Macassini goes over for the Tigers. Luai's last pass was a beauty, and the run from Karoyasau had South Sydney on the back foot, and they score the try. Here the Tigers, 12 points to 4. South Sydney lead. The Tigers with a kick to come. They spun it to the left-hand side, and Samuela Fainu with the last ball and dives over the line. Samuela, 12 points to 4 with 2.5 to go in the first half and a kick to come.
Well, what a scurry from the little number 9 there for the Tigers. Happy Royce, I thought he was going to go the entire way himself. He just kept breaking tackles. First at the speed off the mark to get out of dummy half. Some tired defenders from the Rabbitohs through the middle. He gets straight around, and then a great job to get off the left foot, get around the fullback coming forward and Latrell Mitchell. And then, as you said, he takes out half the turf here at Central Coast Stadium. They immediately go to the left. They know they've got the numbers, they've got them shot to pieces on the defensive right edge of the Rabbitohs. And then Finu, who scored a try last week in the game at Leichhardt, gets another one tonight.
Yeah, it was his 50th NRL game last week, Finu. He got one to celebrate that. And yeah, 12 points to 4. They certainly deserved it. They've had so much ball on South Sydney's line, but it was really that run of Koroisau that put them on the back foot, Ryan Sims.
Yeah, it certainly was. And look, making ground hasn't been the issue for the Tigers. It's when they've been camped in the 20, they're unable to come up with something. They look more likely when they're attacking from about 30 metres out onwards. And Benji Marshall, I've noticed for the last 2 weeks, has been coaching from the sideline, riding every play, and he absolutely loved that one. Also, Jai Gray, Cat 2, HIA.
Thanks, Roo. So Gray will be able to return as Dewey 5 metres inside that eastern touchline. And makes no mistake, 12 points to 6, a minute and a half to go in the first half. They are on the board here, the West Tigers, around the grounds. That Asian Cup final is underway between Japan and the Matildas. No score. You can hear it on ABC Listen. Just look for the green and gold button. In fact, Japan have just scored and they lead the Matildas 1-0 in the first half. In the AFL second quarter, Fremantle leading Melbourne 49-7. Super Rugby Waratahs 10, leading the Blues 5. Queensland Cup first half, no score, Townsville and Northern Pride. Mackay leading Central Queensland 18-6. And in that first game of the NBL final series, third quarter, Sydney leading Adelaide 76-49. 0467 920 222 as the West Tigers have the ball after points. It's a try scorer, Fino, plays the ball 20 away from his own line for Koroisau and then gets the ball away to Hunt. Hunt gets up, wants to go again. So Wyatt Raymond is saying that Mamazelis had him held. So he plays the ball on the 30-metre line. Left-hand side for 12, backs into traffic and takes the tackle, held up 10 short of halfway. Plays it Koroisau. Right-hand side, they throw it. Dewey through the hands. Buller to Taruva. Taruva up over halfway. Tries to get away from Tallis Duncan. Tries to get away from Walker. Ultimately brought to ground by David Fafita, 10 inside South's half. Final play. Dewey with the spiralling bomb. Goes to the skies. Latrell Mitchell waiting for it. Loses it forward. It comes off a Tiger. It'll be 6 again. It was off the foot. Picked up by Luai. Throws it left-hand side. And Makasini gets the try for the Tigers. They go back to back. He's hurt on the deck, Makasini. A little bit of concern for him. But it was that spiralling bomb from Adam Dewey that put Latrell Mitchell under all sorts of pressure. 13 seconds to go in the first half. The Tigers have the chance with the kick to come to level it at 12-all.
There was a monster kick, wasn't it, from Dewey? And again, the Tigers, they've got this real intent about their chase, which they had last week against the Cowboys. They poured down there in numbers, put a lot of pressure on the back three there of the Rabbitohs. Jerome Luai is on the spot to pick up the scraps, immediately throws it to his left to Makasini, who he's ditched the headgear. He goes over for what looks like his first try, and yeah, the Tigers are just waiting for the decision here from the video referee.
I think, Roo, they're just looking at the put down and also Latrell Mitchell coming over the top.
Yeah, so they're looking at the put down, but Latrell Mitchell catches Makasini in the right eye with the hands screaming through there as he's trying to dislodge the football. So we'll get an adjudication from the video referee, but on field it was given as a try.
Yeah, so if he does get the grounding, we could possibly be looking at a possible 8-point try, and if he doesn't get the grounding, we could be looking at a penalty try, but we're just waiting to see.
Yeah, also, Estee, just to let you know, Jai Gray passes AJA and he'll be returning in the second half for the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Roo. Now, the grounding looks okay. Let's have a listen.
Video review. So we're reviewing the high contact on the try scorer, potential 8-point try.
Yeah. So they're happy with the grounding.
You can see his eye was immediately red.
Yeah.
He looks like he's playing the ball there. Mitchell obviously trying to force.
Look at the actions here of Latrell Mitchell. He has a swinging arm that makes direct contact to the face of Hamasi.
Yeah.
This is a reportable action and will result in a possible 8-point try. We have a decision.
Okay, so Latrell Mitchell on report. And a possible 8-point try. So Makasini's try has been scored. They will take... So there's confirmation Latrell on report. So they will take the first kick or the conversion. Adam Dewey from 10 in from the eastern touchline. Then he will get a penalty right in front of the sticks, Dino.
Yeah, just watching the replay, he wasn't anywhere near the ball.
No.
Maybe the intention or the action is to swipe at the ball, but he was well away from where it got put down.
So Dewey is 10 in from the eastern touchline. To level things up at 12 all, he will then have a second shot from right in front of the sticks. It was a really good kick from Adam Dewey. It put South Sydney under all sorts of pressure. The spiralling bomb high into the night sky in Gosford. And after trailing 12-0 after just 8 minutes of play, we said it'd be an arm wrestle, and they really have wrestled their way back into this one, the Tigers. They could go to half-time with the lead. Dewey with his first shot at goal. Slots it. Great kick from Adam Dewey from 10 inside the eastern touchline. He will now come over from right in front of the sticks, and you would have to say that the West Tigers will almost certainly be going into half-time with a 14 points to 12 lead after trailing 12-0. 0467920222 while we're waiting for the kick. Dewey takes it quickly, in fact, straight over the black dot. 14-12 at half-time after trailing 12-0. They had all sorts of pressure down on South Sydney's line, and they couldn't really come up with anything, the West Tigers, but ultimately it was a run straight through the gap from Appy Carousel that set up the first try, and then a huge kick from Adam Dewey that set up the second, both of them coming in the final 4 minutes of that first half, Dean Hallertau.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. It felt like it was all South Sydney for so much of that first half until the Tigers kept getting possession. But one thing that was noted by Ruan, and we thought the same up here, was how good the defence was from the Rabbitohs, or how inept, I guess, the Tigers' attack was in that 20-metre zone when they're attacking the Rabbitohs line. They just couldn't come up with points, no matter how much they tried. So it took a couple of long-range sort of efforts to get them down that end, and then off the back of that, they're able to score points. Obviously, the 8-point try kicks them out in front. Some disgruntled Rabbitohs fans as the referees come up the tunnel, but it's hard to argue with the penalty there on the try. I thought for the Rabbitohs, they started really strong through the middle. David Fifita had some really good runs on that left edge as well, and propelled them down the field. So when they got into attacking position, getting those repeat sets, the ruck infringements, they were able to come up with some pretty easy points out wide. They shifted the ball to their right twice, which is probably opposite to where I thought they were going to go. I thought they'd try and target Latrell Mitchell a bit more, get him one-on-one and with Taruva, but they go out to their right. Jai Gray with his speed keeps that inexperienced left edge of the Tigers guessing, and they're able to cross over for a couple of really easy tries. So there's definitely opportunity there for the Rabbitohs if they go back to that in the second half. They just got to get their share of possession back, and things will turn for them.
Well, this fella in front of us was adamantly pointing to his shoulder there, saying Latrell got him across the shoulder, but unfortunately Macassini has a black eye out of it, so I don't think it was all shoulder. Ruan Sims, obviously the Tigers have got the reward for all that possession, but they probably would have liked to have done even more with it.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I think that's something that I'm sure Benji Marshall will be addressing with them right now, that they're in the sheds. The biggest thing was that I noticed they had no issue rolling downfield, the Tigers. It was just when they were camped in their own 20, they weren't able to actually capitalise on that possession and field position with points. But from a further distance, they looked great when they attacked that way. Through their kicking as well, obviously the Tigers diffused 100% of the kicks that went their way. The Rabbitohs only diffused 45% of those kicks, so that's obviously where a real target was drawn towards the back end of that half. But also, incredibly, I think, do you guys remember me saying to you that Tigers only had 20% possession after about 15 or 18 minutes? They finished the half with 55% possession, so they definitely turned the tide there. And incredibly, when after the first 15 minutes we thought it was going to be a big blowout, and they held on and they really got through their work. But for the Rabbitohs, they just need to make sure that their discipline doesn't get the better of them.
Yeah, it was incredible how the tides turned after that first 10 or so minutes, wasn't it, Roo? 04792022. There's so many texts that we haven't been able to get through. Thanks to Neil. G'day, LC, Kim and Cairns. Thanks for your text message. Al, no doubt, cheering on the Tigers. Go Tigers, says Neil. Fill in Mudgy. Let's go Tigers. Tigers too good for them, this texter. And then a few coming in saying direct contact to the head, that's 10 in the bin. Swinging arm to the face is a red. If it weren't half time, does Trell get 10, says Tim in Lismore. After a terrible Sharks score, go the Tigers, says Susie in Melbourne. Foul play, direct contact, that's 10. Kirk in Townsville. Latrell Mitchell's a grub. How many times we get a free pass? And you can please pronounce Appy's surname correctly. We're begging. It's Carousel. Thank you very much, the Wires travelling fans. Thank you for those text messages. Look, he's obviously put Latrell on report. The referees decided that is enough, but that old chestnut, you've seen them given a little worse sometimes, Tino, I suppose.
Yeah, I thought it was more maybe the poke in the eye that caused Macassini to be in that discomfort. It's hard to judge from this far away and watching a small screen or the big screen at a distance to know how forceful it might have been. But happy to go with what they've seen, and in the end, the Tigers get an 8-point try, so there's definitely a benefit for them.
All right, around the grounds in the AFL, Fremantle leading Melbourne 49-20. Queensland Cup first half, no score, Townsville Northern Pride, and Mackay leading Central Queensland 18-10. Super Netball third quarter, Adelaide Thunderbirds 60 leading West Coast 46. NBL Game 1 final series. Three-quarter time, Sydney leading Adelaide 90-56. And in that Women's Asian Cup final in Sydney, which you can hear on ABC. Listen, looking out for that green and gold button. Japan lead the Matildas 1-0 midway through the first half. We will be going directly to the closing stages of that match at the completion of this game here in Gosford, where it is the West Tigers leading 14-12 over South Sydney at half-time. Jai Gray and Jack White, and converted by Latrell Mitchell inside 8 minutes, giving Souths a 12-0 lead. And then the 36th-minute Samuela Fainu and the 39th minute Hema Macassini. Both of those tries converted by Adam Dewey, but Macassini's was an 8-point try in the end for that high shot from Latrell. So the penalty goal from Dewey giving the Tigers a 14 points to 12 lead. More on the other side of ABC News.
This is ABC News with David Rowlands. US President Donald Trump says he's considering winding down military operations in the Middle East, even as the United States is sending 3 more amphibious assault ships and roughly 2,500 additional Marines to the region. Larry Buttrose has the details.
The mixed messages from the US come after another climb in oil prices sent trade into a plunge on Wall Street. That was followed by a Trump administration announcement it was lifting sanctions on Iranian oil already loaded on ships, a move aimed at allaying soaring fuel prices. The war, now in its 4th week, shows no sign of abating, with Israel saying Iran continues to fire missiles at it, and Saudi Arabia saying it downed 20 drones in just 2 hours. Meanwhile, there's speculation about possible missions for the Marines in Iran, including seeking out any stores of enriched uranium and occupying the strategic energy facility Haag Island.
Meanwhile, a massive fire has erupted at the US diplomatic facility in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad, following what's believed to be an Iranian drone strike. At least 3 attacks were reported on the sprawling facility in the city's fortified green zone, with the fire breaking out following the 3rd strike. Defence Minister Richard Marles says he won't give a running commentary on the latest comments from US President Donald Trump. Trump has labelled NATO allies cowards for not helping to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, and says he was surprised that Australia said no to US requests to get involved in the war. Australia has committed a wedge-tail surveillance plane and 85 defence personnel to the UAE in order to help defend against Iranian drone and missile strikes there. Mr Marles says Australia is contributing to the security of Gulf states.
Those men and women who are part of the contingent now serving on our E7 do so with the utmost bravery, and they are making an enormous contribution to the defence of the Gulf states.
Polls have officially closed across South Australia in the state election. Will Hunter has more.
Vote counting is now underway to find out who South Australians have chosen to lead the state for the next 4 years. This election has seen a record number of early voters and featured the most amount of candidates ever seen in the state's history. Labor leader Peter Malinauskas is tipped to be returned to office by a comfortable majority, but all eyes will be on the future of an Ashton Hearn-led Liberal Party amid a surge in popularity for One Nation. This ballot is widely considered a litmus test for the right-wing party, which is consistently polled above the Liberals in primary support, threatening its status as the official opposition.
Katherine Hospital in the Northern Territory has been evacuated as the flood-hit community prepares for another possible major flood event ahead of tropical cyclone Narelle. The Category 2 cyclone is currently in the Gulf of Carpentaria and forecast to make landfall on the Territory's east coast early tomorrow morning. The Bureau of Meteorology is expecting isolated rainfalls of up to 300 millimetres and more widespread falls of 100 millimetres across the top end. NT Health says that as a precaution, 20 patients of Katherine Hospital have been relocated to Darwin. Emergency crews in South Korea have recovered the remains of 10 people killed in a fire in a car parts factory. The blaze in the central city of Daejeon was likely triggered by an explosion, with nearly 60 people injured, 25 of them seriously, and 4 still missing. More than 500 firefighters, police and emergency workers were sent to contain the fire and conduct rescue operations. Videos and photos from the scene show thick grey smoke billowing from the complex and some workers jumping from a building. That brings you up to date with the latest ABC News.
A tray of cocktails floated at us through the twilight. Who was this Gatsby fella?
A jazz-soaked reimagining of the Great Gatsby.
That's the best thing a girl can be in this world. A beautiful little fool.
Search for Gatsby in Harlem on ABC Listen.
ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Plays it for Garlic, dummy half to go right-hand side. Humphries keeps it alive. Gray dummies, goes himself, scores. Oh, it's a wonderful little dummy by Jai Gray. He catches the Tigers defence on the left-hand side. Nothing. Strolls over the little fullback for his second of the season. And the Rabbitohs have first blood. 4 points to nil. Kick to gum, 4 gone. Murray through the hands. Humphries. Great dummies as well. Goes this time to Whiten. The double pump and then the pass to Jack Whiten. He's over. South Sydney have a double inside 7.5 minutes. Jack Whiten has to try his first of the season. South Sydney lead 10 points to nil with a kick to come, almost a carbon copy of the first. Yeah. Famazelis on the field as well. Now they go the ball over the top. It bounces away. Ends up with Graham Taufa. There might have been a knock forward here from South Sydney as they threw it across to the right-hand side. So, no try for South Sydney, no try for Graham Taufa. Hunt takes the tackle. They get 6 again. Karoyasau goes straight through. He's got no support, but he bounces off Mitchell. Still going Karoyasau. He's only 1.5 meters away from the line. I thought he was going to go all the way. He's taken half of Central Coast turf with him. Now they go to the left-hand side, and they will score. Finally, all the pressure pays off, and Macassini goes over for the Tigers. Luai's last pass was a beauty to Ruber up over halfway. Tries to get away from Tallis Duncan. Tries to get away from Walker. Ultimately brought to ground by David Fafita, 10 inside South's half. Final play. Dewey with the spiralling bomb. Goes to the skies. Latrell Mitchell waiting for it. Loses it forward. It comes off a Tiger. It'll be 6 again. It was off the foot. Picked up by Luai. Throws it left-hand side. And Macassini gets the try for the Tigers. They go back-to-back. He's hurt on the deck, Macassini.
He has a swinging arm that makes direct contact to the face of Hamasi.
Yeah.
This is a reportable action and will result in a possible 8-point try. We have a decision.
Okay, so Latrell Mitchell on report. And a possible 8-point try. Dewey with his first shot at goal. Slots it. Great kick from Adam Dewey. Dewey takes it quickly, in fact, straight over the black dot. 14-12 at half-time.
ABC sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
and ABC Listen.
Yeah, welcome back to Gosford. The West Tigers leading South Sydney 14 points to 12. Quite remarkable. we had almost half an hour with no points scored. The first 2 tries were in the first 8 minutes. Jai Gray and Jack Whiten for South Sydney both converted to lead 12-0. And then in the 36th and the 39th minute to the Tigers through Samuela Fainu and Hema Makasini to not only level up at 12-all, but Makasini was ruled to be fouled in the act of scoring by Latrell Mitchell with a swinging arm across the face. So that was a possible 8-point try. Adam Dewey kicked both of those goals and it gave the West Tigers a 14 points to 12 lead at half-time. And Ruan Sims is on the sideline for us. Dean Hallertau is alongside me. Roo touched on the fact that at one stage in that first half, the Tigers had 20% ball. They finished the half with 55% ball. They completed at 78%. South Sydney at 76%. The Tigers ran for 861 metres off 84 runs. South Sydney ran for 629 off 75 runs. Defensively, South Sydney made 154 tackles and missed 18, and the Tigers had to make 149. They missed 12. 9 errors, South Sydney to the Tigers 7, and the penalty count was 3-all at half-time. But Dean Hallertau, a really strange half where South Sydney started like a house on fire, and then the Tigers slowly clawed their way back into it and got those tries at the back end.
Yeah, it felt really messy, I think, that first half, and it was punctuated by periods of either team having lots of possession, as Ruan touched on. Another thing she touched on was how comfortable the Tigers were getting the ball up the other end of the field, but when they got there, they weren't quite sure what they were doing. We've seen a number of times that Jerome Lua ran the ball to a dead end and wasn't quite sure what to do. Some poor end to sets as well, which is something that no doubt Benji Marshall spoke to them about in the change rooms. I guess for the Rabbitohs, it would be about being patient and knowing that they've got the points in them. There's some vulnerabilities they exploited on the edges that they can probably go back to if they can control the ball and have their share of possession.
0467 920 222. Wino Super Rugby updates in the around the grounds. Up the Bunnies, Jasper Myocum. Jasper, I have been mentioning it. The Waratahs leading the Blues 17-8. Thank you for your text message. 0467 920 222. Back underway. The Tigers running from right to left on your radio dial, and they have first use of the football through Royce Hunt in the second half. He plays it 20 away from his own goal line, and then the second play of the second half sees Samuela Fainu play it 25 away from his own goal line. The try scorer, the back end of the first half. The Tigers are now 14 short of the halfway line, and Xiaomi Fainu plays the ball. Left-hand side, one off the ruck they go for Alex Twal. He takes it up to halfway. Karoyasau's at dummy half. Now Jareem Buller up over the halfway line. Final play, he's 8 metres inside South Sydney's territory. Dewey will go to the skies again. This one not quite as dangerous as the bomb that led to the try at the back end of the first half. It's taken by Johnston over on the far side, and he takes the tackle 13 away from his own goal line. Jai Gray is back on the field for South Sydney after passing his HIA in the first half, and he gets the pass away and then finally tackled about 19 away from the South Sydney goal line is Graham Taufer. Now they get up and play the ball through White, who was just sort of caught up there with Royce Hunt, but he managed to get up and play it okay. And now they come back to the left-hand side. They're 30 metres away from their own goal line. South Sydney get up and play it through Tola. Now right-hand side they come for Gray. Gray is 10 short of the halfway line. It's the final play. Amazelis tries to get Luai out of the way of the ruck. Humphreys at first receiver will kick from just outside 40. It's taken by Buller on his own 10-metre line, and he will start this set for the Tigers. 17 away from his own goal line. With a 14 points to 12 lead, the Tigers 2 gone second half.
Yeah, well, both teams starting with plenty of energy with the ball in hand, lots of strong carries and getting out and playing the ball nice and quick, which is no doubt what they set their task on is to completing those first sets after the kickoff.
Good run from Luke Laulili taking it towards the halfway line. Then another good run from Alex Twal. He's really got the wind at his back there, and he takes the tackle 10 inside South Sydney's territory. Karoyasau at dummy half will go right, and he links up with Fainu. That's Sione, and Sione has the ball 30 away from South Sydney's line in the final play. He gets up and plays it for Karoyasau. One off the ruck, right-hand side. As Dewey goes to the skies again, down that channel, it bounces. Everyone misses it. It's landed on by the Tigers. The referee said played out by South Sydney. Alex Johnston can't believe it. I thought it just crashed into their legs. I don't think anyone played at that ball, and then the Tigers just landed on it to start. I thought it was going to be the final play, but they get another set here. They're 3 away from the goal line. Skelton plays it. Karoyasau dummy half left-hand side. Dewey closes goes to the line, and then Samuela Finu is 3 away. Here we get Sassioni, I beg your pardon. He gets up and plays it for Croissant. Left-hand side, Luai changes direction for Samuela, and Samuela Finu is 4 away from the goal line. About 25 in from the western touchline. Croissant dummy half. Long ball right-hand side, Luai gets it away, Dewey. Dewey thinks about passing, then goes back off the right foot, back towards the middle, and he's 3 away from the line. Can they get the first try after the halftime break? Here's Royce Hunt. Big Royce here, close to the line. Can they keep him out? He reaches over, they can't. He's scored, has he? Wyatt Raymond is going upstairs. Royce Hunt thinks he's got the try. Wyatt Raymond thinks he might have lost the ball over the line. We'll have to wait for the replay. Does Royce Hunt get it down here? He's just about to reach out. He might. Oh, there's a boot. A South Sydney boot. Jai Gray's boot gets there just in the nick of the time, Dean Hallertau, and saves a try.
Yeah, well, you called a big Royce Hunt near the line. He's forcing his way, which we often see from him. Such a big body, so powerful.
From Royce.
Just the call coming through there. And you're right, there was good position from the referee to call that. It's at the last second that Jai Gray's boot is able to dislodge
from Royce's hand. He fails to have any downward pressure over the goal line.
The decision has to be ruled if you go to the ball, put yourself there. That's how we rule. If you get to the contest,
All right, so Cody Walker still arguing the point. So knocked on over the goal line, a 20-metre restart touchline, Ruwan Sims.
Well, just a little bit of an update from halftime from both sheds. Obviously, Benji Marshall wasn't happy with the start from the Tigers. He wants them to get back into their style and just to play hard to start off with and then play pretty off the back of it. The Rabbitohs obviously very happy with their start in stark contrast, and Wayne wants them to get back to that first 20 minutes of what they were doing well, and Dean Hallertau spoke about that.
Missy, thank you for your text message. No, Royce and Ben are not related. The Hunts. Geez, that'd be a good sequel to Twins, wouldn't it? Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger, big similar there. Missy, thank you for your text message. The Tigers, through Royce Hunt, makes the tackle on Keon Kalomatangi on halfway. Now they come to the right-hand side, and Humphreys back on the inside as they change direction through the middle here, the Tigers. And Totola will play it on the last 8 metres inside Tigers territory. They go to the skies through Humphreys. Waiting for it is Laulili. He has plenty of time, and he takes the catch comfortably. Good chase from Gray and White. He'll have to start this set for the Tigers, 3 away from his own goal line. They lead by 2 here, the West Tigers, and they had the ball through Makasini, who scored that last try of the first half, 10 away from his own goal line. They continue to the right-hand side, 1 off the ruck now, and about 15 short of halfway, they get up and play the ball through Skelton. Now 1 off the ruck right, they continue, keeping it nice and straight and tight here, the Tigers, in their own end. As Taruva plays it for Karoisa, left-hand side for Twal, and then on it goes for Royce Hunt. Gets the offload to Buller backing up. Kareem Buller looks for support, can't find it. Good tackle. He's taken the ground 11 short of halfway. They come left. Luai kicks on the final play from outside 40. Gray has to come across and try to collect it. It's an awkward bounce. Gray does well to avoid the touchline and pick it up. And a great chase as well to bring him down 12 away from his own goal line. It was Samuela Finu who led the chase, and the Tigers now on play 2. You can hear the Tigers fans getting up and about, keeping South Sydney inside their own 20 as Alex Johnson takes it 25 away from his own goal line. Tigers 14, South Sydney 12. We've had 5.5 second half. This game has been played at a really impressive speed. David Fafita will play at 35 away from his own line. They thought maybe that he was pushed to ground after he was getting up to try to play the ball. Sean Kepi is 7 away from halfway. Final play, plays it from Amazelis. Left-hand side, the high kick in the air from Mitchell. The midfield bomb. Coming forward is Buller, batted back by Murray, still the last. Here's Kalomatangi, still the last for the Tigers. They have to throw it around. Humphreys goes right. Whiten will kick again towards the in-goal. Dewey will have to go inside his in-goal to collect. Can he get out? He can. The chase probably wasn't as good as it could have been from South Sydney, but they had to start again after the bat back. And now it's a 2-on-1 strip It was Moala, Graham Taufa, and Humphreys who were in there, and the 2-on-1 strip, 3 away from the Tigers' goal line, gives the Tigers a get-out-of-jail free card.
Yeah, these little split decisions or these 50-50s are really going against the Bunnies, or they have been at least for the majority of this game, and it's stripped in the tackle there by Graham Taufa, as you mentioned. The referee had just called held, so unfortunate timing there for Graham Taufa and the Tigers. Get out of jail a little bit there because the pressure was coming from the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, Humphreys dived on the loose ball after Latrell Mitchell just got a hand on the Tigers player after Graham Taufa was trying to affect the strip. So the West Tigers are now 14 short of halfway. Much better field position than they were hoping for. Xiaomi Mi plays the ball 9 short of halfway. Right-hand side, Royce Hunt's pass goes to nobody. It bounces off the ground, picked up by Adam Dewey, and he's 3 short of halfway now in centre field. 7.5 gone second half. West Tigers lead by 2. Croysau dummy half, left-hand side 12. One-handed offload back to Croysau. Now Buller tries to straighten through a gap, but David Fafita closes it just in time. Croysau one-handed pick-up dummy half. Left he goes. Oh, Luai's ball back on the inside is a wonderful one for Sione Fainu. He almost goes straight through. The ankle tap from Jai Gray, and then Murray over the top, a metre away from the line. Croysau's dummy half pass goes to nobody, but it's knocked forward by Graham Taufa. Picked up by Makasini. Long pass over the top for Dewey. They've got a full set here, the Tigers. They don't need to throw it around. I'm not sure they know. Kai Pearce-Paul gets the pass away. Makasini now. They're keeping it alive here, the Tigers. On play 0. What are they doing? It's still play 0. Kai Pearce-Paul goes to the line and he takes the tackle. On 0 tackle. Croysau dummy half. They're throwing things around here, the Tigers. They look desperate. They look like a team who's trailing by 4 with a minute to go. But they lead by 2. They're centimetres away from the goal line. Hunt gets up and plays the ball. Croysau, long ball, right-hand side, Dewey. Dewey goes towards the line after changing direction, and he's held centimetres away, adjacent to the right-hand upright. They come back left. Short ball out of dummy half from Croysau to Fainu. That's Sione, and he takes the tackle a metre away from the line and next to the post. Plays it for Croysau again. Left-hand side for Luai. Dummies, goes himself, then gets it away to Buller. Good tackle from White and coming quickly out of the line. Buller plays it 10 away, 9 in from the western touchline. Now Luai changes direction back towards the ruck. Samuela Fainu gets the pass away to Laulili, and Laulili 6 away from the line. Final play. Buller, right-hand side. Luai keeps it alive out the back. Royce Hunt. Oh, the long cutout ball from Royce Hunt to Taruva. Taruva kicks towards the in-goal. Gray picks it up. Was Taruva taken out on the way through? Gray takes the tackle, and the referee says play on. South Sydney will start this set 6 away from their own goal line. Great scrambling defence from the Bunnies. 10 away from their own line now. The Tigers still holding on to that 2-point lead with 10 gone second half.
And we've seen this throughout the first half. The Bunnies' online defence has been superb. They just keep turning up for each other. I think David Fafita maybe got away with one there, as you alluded to. Glenn, it was a really bizarre set to start things off from the Tigers, playing hot potato on 0 tackle, as you said.
Tallis Duncan, 29 away from his line, plays it. Kolomatangi, strong run up over the 40. He's 9 short of halfway. Gets up and plays it after the tackle of Samuela Fainu. Final play. Once again, the South fans are blowing up. They held on for too long. It's not a good kick from Latrell. It's picked up by Johnston on the way through. Cody Walker kicks over the top, left-hand side. Buller flying through to get there first. He slips as he tries to get out of the in-goal, but he does just enough. Centimetres inside the field of play, Jareem Buller. Horrible kick from Latrell Mitchell, but Alex Johnston did well to pick it up. Then he went left for Cody Walker to kick again, and they got a pretty good outcome there, South Sydney, in the end, as they keep the Tigers boxed in here with 10.5 gone second half, and the Tigers leading 14-12.
Yeah, he turned a bad kick into something good, didn't he, Alex Johnston, and they got on the attack straight away. Jareem Buller did a really good job out of the in-goal because there was a number of players coming down, and as you see, an early attempt here.
Yeah,
Madam Dewey.
Dewey kicking on 4. This could be a 20-40. Jai Gray comes across, and he does well on the 30-metre line. That's really good eyes-up footing from Dewey. Kicking on 4. It was a huge one from inside his own 20. The South fans are blowing up again here, saying Gray was tackled illegally. He goes to ground on his haunches. This is really frenetic stuff as Jack Whiten takes the tackle 8 short of the halfway line. Someone needs to put the ball over the touchline so everyone can have a breather. Here's Graham Taufer towards the halfway line. 2 short. Centre field gets up and plays the ball after the tackle of Twile and one other. Left-hand side, they come through Sean Kepi, and Sean Kepi straightens on his run. 6 inside Tigers territory. Mamazelis dummy half right. Humphreys gets it away for Gray. Gray thinks about Whiten. Whiten gets back on the inside, and Whiten takes the tackle 30 short of the Tigers line. Final play. Humphreys will go to the air now in centre field. He slices that one off his boot as well. Another ordinary kick, but Johnston is there again. Johnston bats it back for Latrell Mitchell, and Latrell scores. So twice in subsequent sets, South Sydney haven't come up with the best of kicks, and on both occasions, Alex Johnston is there to turn it into goal. Johnston gets there first, bats it back for Latrell Mitchell. He goes over and scores the try. His third of the season, and South Sydney are back in front. 16-14, kick to come, 27 to go.
Yeah, they've figured out the formula, haven't they? Just to put up an ordinary kick, draw the outside backs and the wingers there forward for the West Tigers. I think it's Jarrell Skelton who comes forward on that occasion to try and shut things down. Alex Johnston stays alive. Great awareness to get his body in front of where the ball's landing, catch it, dish it back there to Latrell Mitchell, who's got a free passage down the touchline to the try, and he gets across for South's first try the second half, and the first points in a long time for them.
Well, it's a bit hard to defend against a bad kick, isn't it, Roo? Because you don't quite expect one, and Alex Johnston has done so well there to keep the ball alive for South Sydney.
Yeah, we saw not one but 2, and they almost got a result off the first one, as you said, and the second one they got a 4-pointer with potentially 2 more on the way. But I tell you what, I have to put that down to the defence of the Rabbitohs, the defence on their own goal line, and then the pressure that they put on the Tigers' yardage attack as well. That was really, really impressive, and I think Wayne Bennett will be very happy with that.
0467920222. Luca, thanks for your text message. Ron at Foster. Tex Henry from Kempsey says, good save from Jai Gray. He's been so good in defence, hasn't he? Rowdy Andy, thanks for an ordinary call. Thanks, Rowdy Andy. Appreciate it. You know where the button is. We're not forcing you to listen. Latrell Mitchell, 10 inside the eastern touchline, looking to add the extras to his own try. It's waved away. He is 2 from 3 tonight. South Sydney still leading 16-14, 26 minutes to go. Has Cody Walker done anything out there tonight? I swear you've hardly called his name. Well, I mean, he hasn't done anything bad, but he probably hasn't got as much ball as he would have liked. They've set the ball down the right channel an awful lot, South Sydney. Humphreys has been heavily involved, but he hasn't had a terrible game. Thanks for your text message. Around the grounds in the Women's Asian Cup final, which is live on ABC Listen. Japan still leading Australia 1-0. Half-time in Sydney. We'll be taking you to that one at the conclusion of this game. Ned Hall on the call. Around the grounds in the Super Rugby, the Waratahs leading the Blues 2018 in the second half. Full-time in the NBL in the first game of the final series. Sydney have beaten Adelaide 112-68 to take a 1-0 lead. And now South Sydney have given away a penalty for being offside from the kickoff, Tino.
Yeah, a mistake from Kaloa Matangi off the contact, and then in front of him, I think it's Mamazulis who just dives on the ball, but he's well in front of his front row friend there in Kaloa Matangi, so the penalty straight away.
Yeah, Kaloa Matangi from the restart fired the ball back at tremendous speed. He ran into Samuela Fino and Terrell May, lost the ball, and then Mamazelis, as you say, coming from an offside position to land on the ball. So Adam Dewey is telling Wyatt Raymond that they're going to go for 2, and they will look to level things up at 16 all. 25 to go.
It's not a bad option because they haven't been able to score points inside the 20.
Oh, the amount of ball they had in the first half and couldn't get over the line, yeah. So straight from the restart, it was Kalomatangi's error that led to Mamazelis being forced to land on that ball. You don't expect an error straight from the restart. As I was going through all those around the grounds, Townsville leading Northern Pride 8-0 in the Queensland Cup as well. And half-time in the AFL, Fremantle leading Melbourne 65-34. That is what's going on elsewhere. Dewey, 20 in from the western touchline. South Sydney players being reminded to get back 10. Not that they were particularly Dewey makes no mistake, and we are back level at 16 all. Touchline Ruan Sims.
I think that was the right option there for the Tigers. Dean mentioned that they have been struggling to score tries from in the 20, but what they haven't been struggling with is their yardage carries. They've only been reduced to really small numbers on a handful of occasions, so I don't mind that play by the Tigers.
Yeah, as Dino said, it's been a struggle in that red zone, hasn't it? So, geez, this game has been, for round 3, it's been played with a real intensity. It's a bit of a hackney phrase, isn't it? Finals-like intensity, and we are only 3 rounds into the competition, but it's been a fast old clip, this one. From the gear steward in Kalinga, has Johnston really pulled a rabbit out of a hat? Thank you very much. Graham from Taree, good game so far, loving the coverage. And Glenn, there's nil wrong with his call. I like it, Lord Bronte, and now South Sydney have put it dead on the full from the restart, and the Tigers will get a penalty on halfway, Dino.
Yeah, good work from Terrell May there, because he dominated the call. It was a bit of an awkward spot that it was going to land in between Jareem Buller and Jerome Luai, but Terrell May just puts his hand up, straddles the line, and then catches the ball, or at least all he has to do is touch the ball, and they get the penalty there, the Tigers.
Bizarro world in the NRL tonight on Saturday on ABC Sport. Dewey finds touch, and the Tigers will have the restart 30 metres away from South Sydney's line. Makasini with a strong run to within 17 or 18 of South Sydney's line. 16 all in Gosford, 23 to go. Karoya's out dummy half right for Terrell May, and Terrell May has the tackle 15 away from the line. 22 in from the western touchline. Karoya's out dummy half right for Twile, gets it away to Dewey. On it goes for Jareem Buller. Flick pass out the back, through the hands Laliti, and over on the touchline, it's gone over. Skelton couldn't keep it in the end, and it was forward anyway. So South Sydney will get the scrum 10 away from the line. The forward passes, the Tigers didn't have much room to play in there, and ultimately the forward pass saw Skelton go over the touchline, and South Sydney have the scrum 10 away from their line. 22 to go. It's 16 all, Dino.
Yeah, they don't make the most of that opportunity, the Tigers. It was a bit of a loose carry from Taruvan. I think maybe it was punched out as he was attempting to throw that quick pass onto his winger. So the turnover there, the Rabbitohs will bring it out now from the scrum, and for them it's get through this set, get to a decent kick, and try and turn that pressure around.
Whiten was looking to split the line, but he's brought to ground 20 away from his line, and now they do drag him down. The second tackle as Whiten was trying to get up and play the ball. South Sydney get a penalty, 19 away from their own line, and I think Jamie Humphries might have just been having his finger relocated. He might have had a quick dislocation, and he recovers to find touch 5 short of halfway. 16 all, 21 and a half to go. That's a let off for Souths now, Dino.
Yeah, he might have asked one of the other guys to have the kick, because he went straight over to take the kick for touch, which is obviously his duty, but he looks to be going okay. And as I said, a bit further downfield here for the Rabbitohs. They want to get through the set nicely.
Well, they certainly got to the kick as you wanted them to do, but it was a penalty kick for touch as Murray almost tries to find a way through. He bobbles as he was trying to get the offload. Then he gets 6 again because it was touched by a Tiger. Then he lost the ball. So the 6 again is going to be cancelled out, but the first knock on is from the Tigers, the second knock on from South Sydney. So it'll be a South Sydney scrum feed, 5 metres inside Tigers territory after all of that. 16 all.
Yeah, it's really messy stuff again. We've had a lot of whistles blown. It's been stop-start through this little last 5 minutes, I'd say, of play, and neither team really getting a handle on things.
Humphries out to feed the scrum in centre field. Sounded like a playing background as well. Was it? I think it was. It sounded like them. As Jai Gray has the ball 9 metres inside Tigers territory. It's hard to hear through these headphones, but he plays the ball 15 in from the western touchline. Here's Totola, and Totola is 35 away from the Tigers line. 25 in from the western touchline. They want 6 again, the fans down here, but they want anything from Wyatt Raymond at the moment. And Cameron Murray will play the ball 29 away from the Tigers line. Namazelis bounces off Croyers out. Left-hand side they go for Latrell. Latrell takes a few with him and then takes the tackle 14 short of the line, held up in the tackle. Namazelis out of dummy half, open side for Kaloamatangi. Strong strong run towards the line. He's 4 short in centre field. Gets up and plays it. Mamazelis right for Murray. On it goes for Humphries. Now Gray. He'll grub it towards the in goal. White is coming through, but Laliti was there first. Bats it over the touch-in goal line under heavy pressure from White, and it'll be a goal line dropout for the West Tigers. Good in-goal defending there from the Tigers in the end, with Laliti and Buller both making a play, but they had to because White is almost there.
Yeah, but again, from the Rabbitohs, it's more constructive the way they're finishing there. So Jai Gray gets the ball. He knows a good option is to try and get it behind the line and get that repeat set, or at least get the Tigers coming from deep in their own half, and they get the result of the repeat set with plenty of purpose.
Dewey goes short, but he gets too much hook on this one. It doesn't go 10. Oh, then it bounces, and it does go 10. It almost goes over the touchline. How does Graham Taufa stay in the field of play there? That was so strong from Graham Taufa. He had millimetres to work in, and then he got a flick pass back into the field of play where Humphries dived on it and started the set for South Sydney. Second play there, 21 away from the line, centre field through Tavita Totola. Plays it for Mamazelis. Left-hand side, they try to go through their hands, and Walker loses it. Knock on Cody Walker. Tigers scrum feet, 20 away from their own goal line. 18:50 to go, 16 all, just starting to get scrappier here.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Cody Walker, if you feel for himself, you know he's a passionate player, and he's drifting across. We're looking for options, and then Adam Dewey, I think he plays at his arm there, just forces the error, but it's just a clumsy sort of a catch. He's looking for the quick tip on to his outside man, and unfortunately for Cody, he comes up with the error, and that ability to build pressure is just undone.
Ryan from Brisbane confirms it was Metallica. It's a bit muffled in our headphones sometimes, so you can't quite get it as clear as you'd like. As the Tigers have the ball 28 away from their own line. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. 0467 920 222. Alex Twile held up in the tackle, 31 away from his own line, 23 in from the Western touchline. 16 all. We've got a cracker here on NRL Saturday, ABC Sport. Ruan Sims, Dean Hallertau, I'm Glenn Lauder. Great to have your company. Dewey right-hand side gets it away to Buller. Buller bounces away from one and then takes the tackle. Ultimately 6 inside South Sydney's territory. So they play the ball and they come back open side left through Alex Seyfarth on the park now for the Tigers. He takes the tackle, 35 away from South Sydney's line. It's the final play. Getting it away now for Dewey. Dewey gets it back on the right-hand side, close to the line. They can't find a way through. Good defending from South Sydney. They will get the ball back through a changeover, 12 away from their own goal line as we go touchline Ruan Sims.
I didn't mind that play by Adam Dewey, but he just needed to find a kick on the end of it instead of that last pass. He caught the Rabbitohs defence on their heels, but now this is an opportunity for the Tigers defence to work really hard, stay composed and be disciplined.
Yeah, South Sydney have to work hard to get away from their own end. The last time they were down here, they were given a penalty and they got an easy release from that difficult red zone. Right-hand side they come. Tallis Duncan, 11 short of halfway, plays it Mamazelis. Left Murray. Murray goes towards the halfway line. And Alex Seyfarth coming over the top. On halfway, they go left, first receiver Walker. Midfield bomb again. Skelton goes up. It goes backwards off him and landed on his teammate in the end. Kai Pearce-Paul over on that far side. So they get away with that one, the Tigers. And Skelton on the next play is 31 away from his line. Skelton went up high, did go backwards, and then Pearce-Paul was there. Here's Taruva, 9 away from halfway. 16 all. South Sydney and the Tigers from Gosford. Here's Terrell May towards the halfway line. Junior Totola holds on to him. So too Mamazelis. Left-hand side, Seyfarth. Good strong run. They say that he lost the ball, but the referee said he still got it. Now they go left. Luai, grubbers for himself. Chasing Jerome Luai. Jai Gray picks it up. Luai does really well to bring him down simultaneously as well, alongside Lauliki. And now they have to come away from their own end again. Here's South Sydney. This is play 2. They're 15 away from their own goal line. We've got 15 and a half to go. It's 16 all. Jerome Luai is down in back play for the Tigers. So they'll be without their key playmaker when they get the ball back potentially. He looks in a bit of bother here. So Ruan Sims on the touchline. We'll keep an eye on that one. Keon Kalamatangi, meantime, for South Sydney. Plays it 32 away from his line. They go left, Cody Walker, and then on it goes over on that far side towards the halfway, David Fafita. He has it right on the halfway stripe. Mamazella scoots out of dummy half. Then Grubbers. It comes off a Tigers player. It's not played at, and it's dived on again by Mamazellas. Hang on.
Accidental offside from Tigers into a South knock on. South feed.
Okay, so the accidental offside after it ricocheted off a couple of Tigers players, but not played at, but the accidental offside before South Sydney knocked it on. So South do get the scrum. 10 inside West Tigers territory. 16 all, 14 and a half to go. 19,940 in Gosford, which means there are about 90 empty seats, something like that. So good enough for a sellout at Central Coast Stadium. 119 empty seats with a 20,059 capacity. But yeah, still worrying signs for Jerome Luai, who's limping on the wing out here, Dino, as we watch Jai Gray get tackled 30 away from the Tigers line.
He's coming straight off, so he's trying to make an interchange before that, but you're not allowed to on the scrum. So Api Koroisau has come on the field in place of Jerome Luai. There was a quick signal from the trainer to get him off. So a fair bit of concern for the chief playmaker.
14 to go, 16 all. Left-hand side, South Sydney, Walker, Fafita, ball out the back, Johnston. The South Sydney fans rise as soon as he gets it 9 away from the line, but he's cut down. He gets up and plays it. Walker, first receiver, right for Cam Murray, short ball to Tola. Tola bounces off the defender, then takes the tackle 9 away from the line. Mamazellas out of dummy half. He comes right. Dummy in close to the line is Jaden Sullivan. Can't find a way through. 2 away. Plays it Mamazellas. Left-hand side for Walker. Grubbing towards the in-goal. Latrell's flying. Can they get there first, the Tigers? I don't think Skelton got a grounding on that. Alex Johnston does, though, and scores the try. AJ 2-1-4 now. 20 points to 16 with a kick to come. And over on that far side, Jarrell Skelton tried to get his hand on it to put it dead in the in goal. He was unable to. And Johnston was there to pounce on it. 2016, kick to come, 12:50 to go.
Yeah, well, he got the angle there, didn't he, Skelton? But he should have gone for the downward pressure as opposed to the batting the ball over the dead ball. So it's so hard to do that. He probably overrun it himself in the end. And Alex Johnston, he's had a lot of easy ones, I think, in that run of 213, now 214, but doesn't get much easier than that for him.
Alex Johnston now goes equal second for the most amount of tries here against the West Tigers, 21 with Mark Gassier. Only Daniel Tupou has scored more, and he also has 5 in 5 now in Gosford. He scored a double against the Tigers here in 2024. So it doesn't matter who it's against, it doesn't matter where it is. Alex Johnston is always very close to the top of the try scoring charts. They're getting their shirts off over on the eastern side, the boys. This is Latrell Mitchell from the touchline, a wobbly old one, can't add the extras. It remains 20 points to 16. Touchline, Ruan Sims.
Well, there's a left knee issue for Jerome Luai, and as he came off, he went straight up the tunnel. So I'll try and get a little bit more information for Tigers fans about what's going on, but that's all we've been told so far. And I tell you what, the Tigers, I saw a stat, they haven't won at Central Coast since 2011. So they're looking to break that hoodoo, but at the moment, it's the Bunnies with a 4-point lead.
Yeah, lost 4 straight here in Gosford. They had won 4 of their first 5 visits to Gosford. So a recent turnaround for the Tigers. Come on, boys, you need to get the Tigers home. Otherwise, the Minister in charge of War and Finance will give me grief, says Tiger Tooley. Great call and special comments. Hope the Tigers get up, Ken, in Sandringham in Victoria. Great call as usual. Listening at South Colin, just outside Bundaberg. Go the Rabbit, says Andy and Vic, 0467 920 222. Still 1-0 early in the second half of that Asian Cup final between the Matildas and Japan. South Sydney had the ball 23 metres away from their own goal line on play 2 after the restart. This South Sydney fan in front of us is sensational. He's screaming at White Raymond to give him 6 again. I'm not sure what for. I think he just wanted 6 again. 30 metres away from their own goal line as they get up and play the ball through Humphreys. They come to to the right-hand side, and Keon Kalamatangi is 9 short of the halfway line. He's been entertaining this fella all game, to be fair. Kalamatangi plays it for Mamazelis, left-hand side for Fafita, and Fafita is taken in the tackle 1 metre inside Tigers territory. Final play. They lead 20 points to 16 with just over 10 to go. High kick in the air. Waiting for it is Lali. He takes it comfortably on his own 10-metre line, and the defenders allow him to take it up over the 20, where he is ultimately held up in the tackle. 20 in from the western touchline. So Croissant at dummy half. He goes right for Makasini, and Makasini is 31 away from the line in centre field. Slowly getting up and playing the ball. South Sydney, of course, winning their first game against the Dolphins. Losing last week to the Roosters. Can they get back on the winner's circle tonight? The Tigers looking to make it 2 from 2 after that huge win over the North Queensland Cowboys to start the season last week, as they had the ball about 15 metres inside South Sydney's territory. May plays right-hand side for Dewey, puts the kick up on the run, and Alex Johnston's waiting for it, goes high, bounces off Alex Johnston. Tristan Hope picks it up for the Tigers in his first game of the season. I thought he was going to score there, but they scrambled to stop him 3 away from the line. Now Seyfarth doesn't know what to do with it. He gets it to Dewey. Let's see what they come up with without Jerome Luai on the park here. Attacking the line, the Tigers. They do get 6 again. Dewey's trapped with the ball, though. Tristan Hope's at dummy half. Right-hand side, one off the ruck. He goes bouncing towards the line, but unable to find a way over, and brought to ground just short is Royce Hunt. Right-hand side, Buller. Flick pass out the back. It goes behind Taruva. He has to go back and collect. Sunia Taruva. Dummies. Still going Sunia Taruva, and takes the tackle 9 away from the South Sydney goal line in centre field. Trailing by 4 points here, the Tigers. Dummying left and going right is Tristan Hope. Linking up with Terrell May. May bounces away from a couple, and then they go again and take him to ground 6 away from the line. He'll play the ball for Hope. Gets away from a bloke who was laying in the ruck, and then goes himself 2 away from the line. Standing up and playing it for Croissant. Short ball close to the line. Samuel Afinu is met by a really good tackle to stop him from going over. Final play. Croissant. Cross kick from left to right. Batted backwards, is it by the Tigers? Still the last. Still going the Tigers here. Straight towards the line. That is a barnstorming run. Skelton, but he can't find a way through. Last play. Change over for the Tigers. South Sydney fans giving their side a round of applause for some really good scrambling goal line defence. And they will get the ball 3 away from their own line. 8.5 to go. South Sydney 20, West Tigers 16.
Yeah, they look completely lost out there, the Tigers, without their manager Jerome Luai out there, and Adam Dewey got caught in the middle of the set with the ball, so their structure fell apart. Happy Croissant was doing his best to try and give some direction, but they looked completely lost. It was a clever sort of a kick on the end of things, but well diffused defensively by the Bunnies, who have turned up on their line all night.
To be fair, they look pretty lost even with him out there in attack. They haven't had much going forward, the Tigers, despite the amount of opportunities in South Sydney's line. Their tries came from a huge kick and a run through the middle from Happy Croissant. When they have been close to the line, they haven't come up with anything, as the South Sydney Rabbitohs had the ball a metre inside Tigers territory on the last play. Mamazelis plays it. Gray's at dummy half. Walker doing the kicking down the left-hand side. Skelton waiting for it. Takes it 13 away from the line, and then runs back into traffic. Brought to ground 22 away from the line. Around the ground, still 1-0. Japan leading Australia. Second half, Super Rugby Waratahs trailing the Blues 30 points to 20. The Tigers coming away from their own end. 27 away from their own line in centre field. There's 7:20 to go. Ruwan Sims, Dean Hallertau, Glenn Lauder. NRL Saturday on ABC Sport, with the West Tigers trying to find a way back in this one. They're 10 short of halfway as La Lily gets up and plays it. Hope at dummy half. Right-hand side, then changing direction back into traffic. And the Tigers are 3 metres inside South Sydney's territory here at Central Coast Stadium as Buller gets up and plays the ball. Hope left out at dummy half for Seyfarth. Seyfarth has Duncan around his shoulders, but he gets away and then gets the pass off to Buller. Buller has to go behind him to pick it up off the bounce, though. So he has to start from behind here, and he takes the tackle 11 inside South Sydney's territory. Final play for the Tigers. Taruva's at dummy half. left-hand side. Dewey goes to the skies again. That's another spiralling one. Whiten doesn't really know what to do with it. It went from right to left, and then coming over the top was Macassini. His legs collided with the South Sydney player there, Graham Taufer, I beg your pardon, but he looks okay, Graham Taufer. That could have been a nasty one with Macassini coming over with the legs. What about this run from Jack Whiten? That's a really strong carry. 31 away from the line in centre field, but he's hurt himself, Jack Whiten. He's gone to ground now, clutching at his left hip, it looks like. We'll keep an eye on that. They're walking wounded at the moment with only 6 minutes to go. South Sydney holding on to a 4-point lead of Fafita. Takes it over halfway, gets the offload away to Latrell Mitchell. Mitchell has Buller in front of him, tries to step back on the inside. The West Tigers fullback does really well. Mitchell gets an offload away to Humphreys, and Humphreys loses the ball with a line wide open. All Humphreys had to do was take the catch and he would have scored. Mitchell's offload was a beauty, and Humphreys couldn't hold on. West Tigers get the ball, 20 points to 16. They trail, 5.5 to go.
Oh, he's had a couple of mistakes tonight, Humphreys. Just simple ones like that where he's had an opportunity and he's just coughed it up through a lack of concentration, and maybe the line being wide open, he's sort of a bit of an adrenaline spike and he comes up with the mistake. But Mitchell on the back, there was a great offload further upfield from Fafita. It was a little one-hander around the corner, and the unsuspecting edge defence there of the Tigers, they're nowhere to be seen. So big opportunity gone begging there for the Rabbitohs.
So the West Tigers coming away from their own end. 5 minutes to go, trailing by 4. They come to the left-hand side. Can they come up with something? They've got to go coast to coast. 27 metres away from their own line. Macassini looked hurt coming out of that tackle as well. They go from the left all the way over to the right for Taruva. He's 13 short of halfway. 10 in from the eastern touchline. Everyone looks out on their feet here at the moment as Bolle looks to go on a straightening run. He's back on the park for the Tigers now. Fanua Bolle plays it 4 short of halfway. Left for safe up. Now Croyasau. Left-hand side he goes for Dewey. Quick hands, Macassini. Dummies, goes himself. He's over the 40. Macassini runs straight at Jai Gray. Now he changes direction to get away from the little fullback. And Cody Walker is there to wrap him up. 23 away from the line. He didn't know who to pass it to. Final play, right. Croyasau kicks towards the post. Gray comes forward to try to take the catch. Oh, he does beautifully, Jai Gray. Really good catch under heavy pressure from Buller chasing through. And South Sydney through Johnston now will come away from his own end. Gray is cramping. Tallis Duncan is on his haunches. They are out on their feet. Less than 4 minutes to go. 20 points to 16. South Sydney lead the Tigers. They had the ball through Fafita, 20 away from their own line. The South fans try to be player number 14 on the park for them at the moment. The bloke in front of us wants 6 again, just for something to do. Here's Sean Kepi bouncing off Fanua Bolle, getting up, going again, and then losing the ball in an easier tackle. Subsequently, the Tigers pick it up. They're 30 away from South Sydney's line. What is going on? Kepi did really well to hold on to the ball after hitting Bolle, and then lost it after hitting Samuela Finu in a much simpler tackle. 20 away from the line, the Tigers. Left-hand side, Dewey changes direction for Terrell May. He gets the ball away under pressure. They come to the left. Croyasau, dummies, then gets it back on the inside for Samuela Finu, and Finu is 16 away from the line. Trailing by 4 here, the Tigers. They haven't been able to come up with much attacking South Sydney's line tonight. Could Royce Hunt change that? Not on this occasion. He's 9 away from the line. Coming out of dummy half, dummying going himself is Tristan Hope. He's a metre away from the line. Can the Tigers come up with something here with 2.5 to go? A long ball right-hand side. Croyasau, first receiver, gets it away to Buller. Towards the line, out the back for Dewey. Dewey puts it on the toe, rubbering, and once again, South Sydney and Johnson is there to clean up. A metre away from the line, dives on the ball, stops the Tigers in their tracks again, and Gray on play 2 takes it to the 10-metre line. South Sydney 20, West Tigers 16, 2 minutes 20 to go. Gray stays on his feet, on his ground, waiting for the penalty, and it ultimately comes. It took a while, but Chris Butler in the bunker has signalled to Wyatt Raymond the high tackle on Jai Gray, and Kai Pearce-Paul is the man to give it away. South Sydney with a penalty on their own 10-metre line. 2 minutes to go and a 4-point lead.
Yeah, the wrist straight onto the side of the face there of Jai Gray. A little bit of a soft one, so just a falling player. He needed to drop the height there. There's a concern now for Adam Dewey. He's been left on the ground. We'll see a bit of a stoppage here. The trainer, once again, is with him. He may help him to his feet. A number of South players obviously spent some time at South, did Adam Dewey, so a number of South players check on him, and he's looking like he's grabbing at maybe the high part of his hamstring, maybe the bottom of his glute, the right side there. So immediate concern for another half of the Tigers. This could be disastrous if they've lost their number 7 as well.
Yeah, Jerome Luai is on the bench, no headgear, still got the boots on, but Adam Dewey struggling with a hammy as well. Really worrying signs. South Sydney, fine touch on the 30-metre line, touchline, Ruan Sims.
Well, Api Coruscant just came to the bench to get some last-minute instructions from Benji Marshall, and I'm sure it'll be around, don't panic, make sure we just get through our set, roll down the field and get into a position where they can score some points. It looks like that midfield bomb is something that might come off for them with a couple of minutes left.
Dean Hallertau spotted something.
Yeah, I think they might be out of interchanges here, the Tigers. So just looking, it looks like they've miscounted, but I think they've only got 12 on the field right now.
Wow, so that could be huge for the Tigers with a minute and a half to go. Chasing this game, down by 4 points. David Fafita for South Sydney is 5 metres inside Tigers territory. Slow to get up and play the ball now. They're eating up as much time as they can here, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, as they look to hang on for their second win of this 2026 campaign. Right-hand side they go, Sean Kepi, ball under the jumper stuff here, and he's tackled 25 away from the Tigers line at the Palm Tree end of Central Coast Stadium. Left-hand side they go, Cody Walker chips over the top, chasing through, Skelton's there to pick it up for the Tigers, but he's a metre away from his own goal line, where he has the ball taken out of his arms. There were 3 South Sydney players in there. It's a 3-on-1 strip. There's 45 seconds to go, and the Tigers will have to go 100 metres if they're to get something out of this with 12 players on the field.
Yeah, they actually have to kick the ball now because the clock is still going. There's no time out for that. Api Coruscant launches it as far as he can, picks up 20-odd metres, so it's a long way still to go for the Tigers.
75 metres out from home, 25 seconds to get there. The West Tigers trailing 20 points to 16. South Sydney's defence has been outstanding tonight. They need to keep the Tigers out for the last few seconds, and they will hang on to win this one 20 points to 16 after trailing 14 points to 12 at half time. Left-hand side, the Tigers come. 3 seconds to go. The siren will sound. South Sydney will celebrate. It is glory, glory, and disappointment for the West Tigers as South Sydney win 20 points to 16 in a real battle of attrition at Central Coast Stadium. We will be heading fairly soon to the Asian Cup final at Stadium Australia, but we do have time for a couple of interviews, Roo, and we'll get Dean Hallertau's 3-2-1 as well. But Dino, while we're waiting for Roo to get a couple of immediate reactions here, just talk us through that game, because the Tigers had plenty of opportunities, didn't come up with much, and then South Sydney at the other end getting the job done.
Yeah, South Sydney persisted, and a lot of it was due to their stoic defence. They just kept turning the Tigers away. I know we probably voiced our frustrations at the Tigers' lack of structure or fluency with their attack, particularly when they're in good ball. They couldn't come up with any sort of real threat to the South Sydney defensive line. It was only a couple of long-range tries that got them there, and a penalty goal, and the 8-point try as well that kept them within range. So, there's a fair bit for the Tigers to look at in terms of their structure, but a huge pat on the back for the Rabbitohs and the way they defended throughout the game. They really did frustrate the Tigers out of the game.
Let's get down to Roo. I think she's got her pick of a few South players there.
I certainly do, but I tell you who I picked. I grabbed Jack Whiten here because, Jack, that was an incredible performance. There was not much stoppages in significant portions of that game. Big fatigue factor, and your guys' defence was up to it tonight.
Yeah, that's it. It was, we knew they were dangerous team. Of ball in play and the momentum flow like that, so it was good to get the 2 points. We can definitely be way better, but we'll take that going into the bye.
Well, those defensive efforts just turned up time and time again. So many repeat sets, so many tackles back to back to back. What's the chat like when you have that level of fatigue coming through?
You know what, it's something we need to be good at. You know, we haven't been good at that over the last couple of years, at turning people away after we give a penalty. So it's just all building steps. Round 3, just keep building, and hopefully we can keep building on on that kind of stuff, because that's the real stuff that matters at the end of the year, is turning teams away.
And when you have a little bit of adversity, Jai Gray goes off with that HIA, there's a little bit of a reshuffle. The ability to then bounce back from that and to keep putting out that kind of a performance is really what, like you said, you can build the rest of your season on that.
That there's the story of our lives the last 3 years. Mate, we've been shuffling and moving, so we had a lot of practice. So it's a little bit second nature at the moment. One goes down, another comes in, we do our jobs.
And you're all right. I saw you go down a little bit, but you got back up.
A little mad cork in the bum. It was one of them real painful ones, but yeah, I'm back on my feet.
Oh, the old cork in the bum. Go and enjoy the ice bath then.
No, good, mate. Yeah, thank you. Good on you. Good to see you, eh?
Thanks, Jack White, and thanks to Roo. Nothing worse than a cork in the bum. But yeah, interesting, the story of their last couple of seasons. They had 11 halves combinations last season. Their third halves combination today. Humphries obviously worked so hard in the halves today, and you're right, Jack Whiten's right. Everyone stepped up this afternoon, and even when their kicking didn't work for them, it came up trumps, Tino.
Yeah, we mentioned about their dodgy kicks that were capitalised on by some good efforts by Alex Johnston mainly. It was just that effort to get down there. The Tigers probably clocked off a bit. When you see a bad kick go up, you sometimes think, okay, this is going to be an easy one for us to handle. We're not getting threatened in the air, we're not getting threatened behind the line, but it ends up coming down in an awkward spot, and they make the most of it, the Bunnies. But again, you hear from Jack White there, and he talks about just that effort for each other, and just the scrappiness about getting the job done. So they deserve that win based purely off that defence.
What we might do is get your ABC Player of the Year points, and then Ruan Sims might be able to track down our ABC Player of the Match.
Yeah, I found this a bit difficult tonight to go to. There was sort of some spread performances, but for 1 point, I'm going to go to the Tigers. Alex Twall played 62 minutes, and he just kept going. He's one of those unsung heroes for the Tigers. Gets through a mountain of work, and thought he really deserved some points. I'm going to go 2 points to Keon Kaloamatangi. I thought the work that he did through the middle of the park was outstanding for the Rabbitohs, and a big reason that they were able to defend so much, but also laid a bit of a platform. And then I'm going to go Latrell Mitchell for 3 points, because I thought that when the time came, and he got the try obviously himself, but when the moments came, he put his hand up and he wanted to get involved as much as possible.
That's handy, because Ruan Sims only has to walk about 1.5 meters to get Latrell there. He's right in front of you on the halfway line there, Roo.
Oh, sorry, he's
on a media band, isn't he?
Yeah. But I did grab Sunia Turova, if that's all right, guys. I just thought we'd like to get a bit of a perspective from the Tigers camp. Sunia, coming back from that deficit so early on, that is obviously something that Benji would have been really happy with.
Yeah, he did touch on that half time. And we showed our fight, but we just kept making it harder for ourselves. Started both halves, started pretty poor, so it'll be a big focus going into next week.
Yeah, a few injuries as well that you guys are going to have to contend with, but that's just something as the game goes on, it's just something you have to work around, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. I seen on the big screen Jerome go off, and then ads went off, I think 10-15 minutes later, so yeah, having our 2 starting halves isn't ideal going off, but I think that's just gonna have to prepare us for gonna have to get prepared for the Warriors next week, who've been playing pretty well.
A real positive is just your guys' ability to roll down through yardage, particularly to get into position. But when you got there, it was just a little clunky. But that ability to move down the field so quickly, that's a real positive that you can build on.
Yeah, I think we were able to roll down pretty easy, but then like you touched on it, we looked a bit frantic, I think. I don't know if that was maybe scoreboard pressure, or I don't know what it was, but I think that's another work on for next week. Like I touched on, we're going up against the Warriors. Been defending pretty well as well. They haven't been letting in too many tries, so that's something we need to work on.
Well, good luck through the week. Thanks for chatting to us. I know it was tough after a loss.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you.
Thanks, Roo. Thank you, Sunia Taruva. Just touching on those 2 forwards that you gave points to. Alex Twal for your 1 point, running for 137 metres and making 37 tackles. And then Keon Kaloamatangi, absolute workhorse with 150 metres and 34 tackles. So clearly outstanding performances from those two. Roo's chatting to our old mate Chris Hyington there. Keep the microphone away because he's probably good to see Hino. Unfortunately not the result for him tonight. But Dean Hallertau, before we head off to the Tillies, final thoughts on this one?
Yeah, look, it was a weird sort of a game. There was some moments there where you got really excited. It was 2 in and throw in, and the Tigers, they were disappointing in good ball area. They poured down the field. Ruan mentioned this a number of times. They poured downfield. field so well. So they've got that middle third covered. They've got plenty of power. They definitely look fitter. They just weren't able to do things well in the good ball zone, and when they lose their two halves, that even gets more difficult for the Bunnies. It's a good building game. It's a character building game. I think the fact that you're able to defend your line so much, weight of possession against you for a large part of the game, and they're able to keep turning them away and turn up defensively, that builds a lot of confidence going forward, despite what they might do with the ball. I'll give probably a shout out to Jai Gray too. I thought he was outstanding. Obviously spent some time on the sideline with the HIA, but he was very safe at the back. He had to get through so much physicality in that game, and he's a little guy, but he bounces back up, he turns up, and had some really good touches as well. So, like I said, a good building block game for the Rabbitohs.
All right, Roo is heading up the tunnel. Thank you, Roo. Thank you, Dino.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you to Christian Huff-Johnson on the buttons. Thank you to Zane Bojack in the studio. My name is Glenn Lauder. Full-time South Sydney, 20 points to 16 victors over the West Tigers. About 20 minutes to go in the Asian Cup Women's Final between the Matildas and Japan. Let's get there for the closing stages. Your callers, Neve Owens, Amy Harrison and Ned Hall.
Now, this is where Australia needs to be careful, because this is where Japan like to really push down the throttle.
Absolutely. Ball played forward here by Hayley Raso. Kerr would have been offside then. The flag stays down. Japan has possession of the ball at the back with Kumagai. Plays it on towards Koga. Sam Kerr trying to close her down. We're going to see another change from the Japanese soon. Romina Chiba, who was very impressive in her substitute appearances in the last couple of outings that she's had, certainly against the Koreans, where she scored a terrific goal. Ball whipped forward now by the Japanese, flicked in field by Hamano. Alana Kennedy wins the ball back though. Carpenter wants the ball played down the sideline, but it goes back in field, and now Kennedy's there. She's got Torpy away to the left. If she looks up and sees her, Torpy slips over, and Japan again look to break downfield. Mary Fowler, though, cuts the ball out nicely. Cutting infield, Mary Fowler, and away from one challenge. This is a chance here for Australia. It could open up in front of them. Fowler surging in towards the box, goes left and right, lays the ball off towards Caitlin Ford, then to Torpy. Wanted to give it back towards Fowler, and in the end the Japanese flicked the ball away. Well, she seemed to not be sure of a final option then, Mary Fowler, and ran down a bit of a blind alley as the ball played crossfield here, looking for Matsukobu, who accelerated onto that one. It just evaded her left boot, and it goes out towards the touchline. So Australia have got players back behind the ball now. We'll talk about fatigue in this match. Even the Japanese look like they're slowing down a little bit. They've done a lot of work in this match and had to do a lot of defending as well as getting forward and building attacks. They've got possession of the ball now, though, with Kitagawa. And again, the Australian fans trying to lift the Matildas, get this ball back and mount another attack. Koga, wide it goes to Takahashi. Rolled forward towards the edge of the box. Laid out wide left towards Hamano. Hamano picks the ball up now for Japan in plenty of space. Whips across in towards the middle, far too close to Mackenzie Arnold. And she gratefully receives the ball. You can then play the weight downfield. She's gone for a quick throw. It goes towards Eddie Carpenter. Carpenter, though, went running straight in towards the first challenge. Raso skips away from one defender. They're away down the right-hand side. Carpenter bolting forward, tries to get to the byline with the cross, pulls the ball back, and it's knocked away and out over the sideline. And Ellie Carpenter will have to pick herself up off the ground. She threw everything at that then to get downfield, and eventually goes out over the sideline. And there you go, 74,397 inside the stadium tonight. There you go, a new record for the Women's Asian Cup, comfortably by some distance. As incidentally in the background, the goal scorer for Japan, Maiko Hamano, is replaced by Romina Chiba. And Australia will have a throw from out on this right-hand touchline. Ellie Carpenter actually picked herself up off the ground eventually from being face down from that full tilt run, and she's going to take the throw. Goes all the way back to Winnie Heatley. She plays it across the back line to Steph Catley. Catley on towards Torpy. Back she goes to Mackenzie Arnold. So, ball played to Winnie Heatley. Then on towards Ellie Carpenter, who cuts infield here. She's been closed down by Chiba, gets away from one challenge. Then on to Mary Fowler. There's space on the left for Caitlin Ford. Mary Fowler spots that. She plays it out now towards Ford on the left. Caitlin Ford into the box, takes on the defender. Caitlin Ford in towards goal, flicked into the box, still not turned towards goal, and eventually goes behind off the boot of Sam Kerr. Hayley Rasso threw everything at that to try and get on the end of it. It looped in the air away from her. Sam Kerr tried the acrobatic attempt to wrap a boot around the ball, and it goes behind for a goal kick. So a bit of a shame for her then.
Yeah, fantastic chance, and that defensive work there from Kitagawa was unbelievable. Certain goal saving and desperation there, and Hayley Rasso equally done everything she can, but just not enough.
And while there's another Japanese player down, time to welcome those of you who've just joined us for the NRL coverage tonight on ABC Local Radio. Welcome to the Women's Asian Cup final here at Stadium Australia tonight. Ned Hall, Amy Harrison and Neve Owens with you. Australia trails Japan by a 1-0 with about quarter of an hour left to play here, but this has been a rip-roaring final, end-to-end stuff, and Australia are pushing and probing and asking questions of this Japanese side that they've not been asked in this tournament so far. Hikaru Kitagawa is the player who's down at the moment and receiving some treatment. And Neve Owens down on the sideline. You can just feel that tension around the ground at the moment as the majority of fans inside this 74,397 person crowd are urging Australia to get level in this match.
Caitlin Ford, Ellie Carpenter have urged the crowd to get behind the team as well at different times, Ned, and you can feel that energy inside the stadium. Australia knocking on the door at the moment again and again, doing everything but find that goal, and that's the question, isn't it? Ultimately, whether they can break that Japanese defence. It's been broken just once in this tournament so far, and it really all comes down to this final 15 minutes. Can they find the goal that they are so desperately chasing?
So Kitagawa is still down behind the Japanese goal as players are about to resume here. There's a wave going around the stadium. Players came to the sideline to take on some drinks late in this match and some late instruction as Japan trying to play the ball forward. Kairakuni Cross wins it back in the centre circle, gets away from Hasegawa. I'll say gets away, she's still putting plenty of pressure on her. Then she lays it wide towards Caitlin Torpey, who tries to run infield. Played it on to now to Caitlin Ford. Ford into the box, looking for the forward run of Torpey. Torpey, can she get there and bring the ball back? She's gone in and made the challenge. Play continuing, goes out over the sideline. That should be a corner kick to Australia. That's great, persistent play by Torpey, who again gestures to the crowd to lift to their feet and get behind this Australian side. This has been all effort and all action from the Australian players, particularly in this second half, as they try and find this equaliser here. The corner kick will come in from the Australian left. Referee just waiting, I think, first to see if Kitagawa will move away from behind the goal. So the Japanese currently only have 10 players out on the field. Steph Catley it is who will take this corner kick for Australia from the left. Every Japanese player back in the penalty area. Japan leading by a 1-0. Catley with the corner kick, swings it in deep, drops towards the back of the box, a chance to whip it back in once again from Winnie Heatley. Plays it in along the floor. Rasso slides the ball back, thinking that Carpenter was going to take it off her. Heatley with the cross in deep again. Headed away towards the edge of the area, and the Japanese first to react with Matsukobo, though Caitlin Ford goes chasing her back down. She goes in and makes a challenge. Didn't know where the ball had gone there, though Miyazawa came in and nicked it away and rolls it out towards the right touchline. Then rolled back towards the defensive line. Toko Koga. We're going to see 2 changes coming up for the Japanese in a second as Kitagawa's night is done. Ball rolled across the back line for Japan. As I say, they're down to 10 players out on the field at the moment. Yamashita, the goalkeeper, slides it into the feet of Koga. Ball whipped out towards the Japanese left by Koga, on towards Heatley. Heatley's ball back towards Mackenzie Arnold. And while we're about to see these Japanese substitutions, I'm just laughing. One of the Japanese assistants got like about an A3 or A1 size board, I should say, down there on the side with all the tactics. He's been sent back to the technical area by the 4th official as he was trying to show it to the 2 subs who are about to come on. This huge board he's got, he's lugging around the area. As it is, we're into the last 10 minutes here. Australia trailing by a 1-0 against Japan. Ellie Carpenter surging down the right. She whips the ball into the box towards Sam Curry, flicks it off the top of her head, and it's played away by Japan, but hacked downfield towards Alana Kennedy. Kennedy goes crossfield to where Caitlin Ford has peeled out towards the left-hand edge of the penalty area. She slides it back towards Mary Fowler. Mary Fowler's influence growing more in this match now. Alana Kennedy slides it off to the right towards Carpenter. On to Hayley Rasso. Hayley Rasso's got Cooney Cross in front of her. The first touch isn't great. It bounces away from her. Carpenter, though, wins the ball back for Australia. We're going to see 2 more Australian changes shortly as well, as the ball's played in towards Steph Catley, then lays it on towards Caitlin Ford. Torpy goes on the overlap, but Ford tries to cut in field, and Takahashi tussling away with her. In fact, so it's Virginio's back there tussling away with her. The way that she's been battling with Takahashi all through the night. Now on towards Ford. She takes a touch and turns towards the goal line. Takahashi gets there and knocks it out over the sideline, and it goes out for a throw. We're going to see these Japanese substitutions now. They're bringing on a couple off the bench. It's Miyabi Moria.
Wow.
She comes on. And also,
Yui has a go up.
That is a bit of a shock that she is being replaced by the number 3, another defender, Moeka Minami.
Wow.
So that's obviously 2 defenders coming on. So Nielsen going defensive with the changes that he's making.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that he's taken the captain, Yui Hasegawa, off. I think she's so influential for Japan. But as we see, 2 subs as well for Australia. Looks like Claire Wheeler coming on and Emily Van Egmond also joining her. Kara Cooney Cross and Mary Fowler coming off. So a lot of subs, a lot of fresh energy, a lot of fresh legs to see out the last 8 minutes plus stoppage time, Ned.
I'm a bit surprised with Fowler going off, to be honest. I thought she was starting to look really dangerous, drifting in and around the penalty area, looking really sharp in this match, but her night is done. Claire Wheeler and Emily Van Egmond out onto the field of play. This is a 3rd Asian Cup final for Emily Van Egmond. She's lost 2 before, both of which were against Japan, but she's out into the action now. Australia's record cap winner. Ball rolled back at the touchline by Australia to Steph Catley, then on to Wheeler. Straight into the action, surging down towards the goal line, and she's won I thought she'd won a corner kick for Australia. The referee says that is a goal kick. And you can hear the reaction again of the crowd here. I'm sure what your reaction to that was, Neve, as well, about those changes being made just then by Australia.
Very interesting, Ned. 2 players in the middle of the park in Claire Wheeler and Emily Van Egmond. For Kyra Cooney Cross, she hasn't played a huge number of minutes in recent times, so an incredible